Bro, I thought I slept for centuries, man. Fudge. It's 10 a.m. My wisdom tooth is coming in. It feels weird back there. What was I thinking about? Oh yeah, my pen. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Doesn't look good. 4-hour 20 stream, bro. I don't know if that's enough for 5 games. It's 1:15. They haven't started. Do you think there could be... The fuck is happening?
It's been a bumpy road to get to this point. I wasn't able to find a competitive team where we can compete internationally. It's very difficult to go through those stretches of time. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
이제 새로운 팀과 함께 도클라는 모두가 불가능하다고 여겼던 일을 해냈습니다.
For the first time in 4 years, North America makes top 4 internationally.
When you dedicate so much of your life to just a single aspect,
Winner
you wanna
faces
do well,
HLE.
you want to be considered best in the world. This is what you play for.
Across, he needs one more. It's Oakland. Flashes in to get it.
도클라에게는 더 높은 곳으로 더 나아갈 기회가 남아 있습니다. 하지만 그 앞을 가로막은 건 그의 오랜 친구입니다.
I think that Dokla has got up many haters, just the same way that I did. I have nothing but respect for him.
I really enjoy every time I come internationally to see Broken Blade. We were teammates at one point on TFN way back in 2020. I'm really proud of how far he's come.
For me, Dokla is an opponent that I will try my hardest against because that's the only thing he deserves.
한때 같은 팀이었던 두 선수 이번 MSI에서 각자 역사를 써 내려가고 있습니다.
G2 had a really good year so far. They're going to be a really tough opponent.
When we're in the game, it feels like family, you know? We move together. There's no one left behind. So I have full trust in my teammates when they want to take a fight, that we're going to win the fight.
G2 after 7 years managed to double T1.
협곡 밖에서는 친구지만 협곡 안에서는 적입니다. 오직 한 선수만이 최후의 세 팀의 일원이 될 수 있습니다.
I think G2
We
win.
both play on our best versions and figure out who's the best top laner in the West.
BB, let's have a good match, man. But I have to win.
모든 준비는 끝났습니다. EU 대 NA, call your shot.
Welcome everyone to the caster desk for this EU versus NA clash. G2 taking to the stage, Lion not far behind them. I'm Dracos, joined by Kobe and Jat for what will no doubt be the greatest and most anxiety-inducing best of 5 in the history of the sport.
Every North America versus Europe match that we ever get, Dracos, at the time, is the most important matchup ever!
I don't want to discredit
I think
finals,
this
but
is sweet,
our
bro.
finals. This is our, and though someone makes it to the finals, this is our finals.
It's so rare that we get the #1 seed from the LCS and the LEC with the chance to eliminate each other. Last year, yes, FlyQuest did beat G2. That was the #2 seed, so we're being a little technical here. But the last time this has happened was 2019, time before that was 2013. This is only the 3rd time in history the #1 seed of each region has played an elimination series against each other.
It's so rare, but it also reminds us why so often we have to resort to the little technicalities.
Who's to be excited, bro? I think
G2
G2 slams them.
Here, or a best of one there. But for the first time in a very long time, this is the definitive series. You heard it from Cage, you heard it from just about everyone. Do or die. This is the series.
No excuses. What came before ceases to have relevance. So I see how you're already looking past KC losing to TL3-0. I understand why you'd want to do that.
Second seeds, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
He's like, this is the one that matters because we lost the one earlier in the tournament already. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, fair. But you haven't played T1. Like, do we want? We can start slinging mud.
No.
What's your record against T1? Should we check? Do we want to look into that?
You know, honestly, I'm very nervous about this. So I'm hoping that we have a good, clean game out there on the Rift.
This is actually anxiety-inducing. So what I'm going to do is just talk about how great G2 is. Because Dracos, they are exceptional. I mean, Mabye actually said they're like an Eastern team, and I tend to agree. I feel like if this Lion team can take down a top Eastern team, a #2 team in the world, in fact, they will deserve all the credit.
True. But
it's a long shot.
Okay, but you're not going to rug pull me and say the Eastern team is top esports when you're talking about G2, right?
Why are we even talking about the East? G2 are the greatest Western team of
Wait,
all
if you-
time in League of Legends.
Is this no, stop.
Undeniable.
They're
This is
literally
something
the
all-
best.
Guys, this is
We
something
G2 have the
all-star
top
exclusive
esports in
of
T1. We
to
have
take it
beat
down
Team
and a
Secret
final
Furia,
also
bro.
good team.
It's
Let's
not
not
even
count
close.
Tell me more. The chickens before they
Akali,
hatch. Line is good.
Ori,
It's gonna be a banger. Same very
Vi,
good mechanically, as is
Jace,
Berserker. Inspired, look, took down Skewmont. Well, at
Cassio,
MSI last year, Worlds, we kind of glossed over given
Nocturne.
that
Oh, there's
Black was
Nocturne.
falling apart,
Yeah,
but
that
that's
did
a different story for a different time. As we get to picks
Like
and
the
bans,
knot
big guys
sometimes.
are naturally going to be shifting
That's
towards the top
weird.
side of the map because Broken Blade and his counter picks were the center of the story around G2 upsetting T1 in that series.
And their
Nice.
draft plan in the T1 series, I think, was exceptional and was also consistent. They kept the same 3 bans in all 4 games of that series. It was Jace, Vi, and Orianna. They keep the Jace ban for Dokla, who's good at Jace, but I will be curious to see how that stays consistent.
There's already
throughout the
2
match.
OPs
I don't-
up.
Are they going to leave Orianna up with just banning the Fury and Nocturne off the table? I mean, they're hesitating quite a while on this last ban. And Orianna has been devastating at the tournament. Still very early on in the series as well, so.
I'll say that if they leave it up,
That's
I think
okay.
Saint just goes Cassio. It's a matchup that they've been pretty willing to take against other teams. Now that
I like
was,
Ori.
I remember that back from NA Finals when they did that against Quid, who's not the strongest Orianna. Caps is one of the best Oriannas
That's
ever, and it's
okay.
actually ignored for now. And that would be an exceptional Orianna combo, and it's a good pick into Orianna. So very interesting first pick. for G2.
They're putting the pressure back on Lion now. Now they're like, okay, if you want to pick the Orianna, we have one of the champions that is best at punishing low mobility carries. Or Jarvan, perfect Cataclysm options there.
I like
and
that.
if you don't pick it, as you said, very good synergy with the champion as well. So
Ezra
nice little
Bard.
move here from G2 to get a pivot point with the Jarvan.
That's not a thing.
And now kind of avoiding the issue by just saying, hey, we're going to slam Ezreal and perhaps
But
a
Inspired
jungler
doesn't
as
like
well. Let the
playing
mid pick go
Vi,
later
no?
and later, prioritizing mobility to get around the Jarvan rather than worrying about securing a very contested mid lane champ.
And we'll see how traditional the
would
bot
side
lane
more
picks
Gs.
stay in this series. I know this has been a very mage-heavy
Oh, Bard's up.
MSI
That's what I
meta, but
figured.
Han Sama, not
Yeah.
a great mage player historically.
Well,
Berserker
okay,
has looked
so
good on Ziggs, but otherwise great
I
on
forgot
mid
it's
carries.
like
And Lion stays very standard here. The
EU
Ezreal
NA,
good
we're
at
not going
Jarvan
to see
is in a
anything
standard
crazy.
counter matchup, and
Or
the
we're not going to
Orianna
see the
game of
regular.
chicken
We are going
continues.
to see shit
Let's
crazy.
see. Is Saint thinking, oh, I'm going to play Ari or Yone or something else into it? With a Akali ban, like that's the go-to one where you put lots of pressure onto the Orianna, but there are other possible options for him in his pool, and Inspired with the Zen is going to look for the early
Yeah, I
scrap.
can't predict
So,
shiz
the
with these
early
guys.
Anivia pick here, okay. It's still flexible.
Doesn't tell you anything.
Caps is very good at it. They could put it top. They could still put it bottom. even
We
though
have
haven't
Cassio
supported Anivia
or
in a
uh,
while. And so now we're looking at top for sure.
Where's my
That
first
tells us a little bit
prediction?
more.
Go Bard.
So it could still technically be support Anivia if they really want to get spicy, but it's probably Anivia top.
It'll
and
board a
Orianna
Cass.
mid.
That's two spots. I would just like to say, as the G2 representative,
Well,
Cass,
we went
that's
2
too
for
spicy.
4,
The
let's
thing
get
is,
it.
No Anivia. Keep the Anivia
No
out of the
Anivia
bottom
support?
lane. No, please, no.
The
Or
other thing
no.
I care
That's-
about more
what?
is how are
That's
they
2
going to
for
punish
6.
this
What am I
Orianna
talking
that they
about?
have left up and let paired with a Jarvan here.
Yeah.
So number one, they're going to pick up the Bard here before.
You gotta be shitting me, bro.
I don't know. The Bard would be quite good at trying to get through Orianna to flash and put kill pressure on her, but they want the strong poke lane here with the Karma Ezreal.
And really what Lion are saying is, hey, we're going to set up our 2v2 so well, we can ban away anything else that can stop us. And the cost is,
Ban mids
you now have this
against
Orianna
Ori.
that's going to be tough to contend with in terms of composition, and some of the options that Dokla might have into this Anivia, which is expected to go top, may get whittled away by G2, making his job that much harder.
And they're kind of daring G2 to play a mage bottom lane because it doesn't fit within the current composition. Like Anivia Orianna is already a lot of magic damage. They have to play an 80 bot lane. Back when we were in
there's
the
my
kind
pickups
of
coming
2v2
in, but it
range
doesn't
support
matter at this
meta,
point.
I'd say in split one during first stand, Ezreal Karma, that was the king combo of that bot lane meta, and Isles Karma, he was on the train before others. So this is a very, very comfortable first 3 picks for Lion here in this game 1.
And I am definitely not expecting G2 to do any mages bottom lane. They already have so much AP.
They just can't
so
do it.
There's
It doesn't
0%
fit.
chance that it happens. Plus, Hansama has also not invested very heavily in those types of champions.
There's
So
too many
got
mids,
one
I do
right?
like the
Seraphine
Bard
game.
ban and trying to take away from possible Bard Caitlyn combination.
Yeah.
Ezreal
Limited
Karma
potential to
lane.
have a champion
Let's
like
get
Bard
into
who can
Ezreal
kind of
Karma.
match some of Karma's early levels, but also can just get really active on the map. A comfortable pick for Labrov too.
Lockdown
Do G2
CC.
want to match a range support
Nautilus.
option? Are they willing to concede the bot lane 2v2 just so that Labrov can maybe play something with a bit more engaged?
Anyway.
Nautilus going to get taken away. Again, I think the most standard, most reliable engaged support. Pretty much, it feels like forever. Maybe dropped out of the meta once or twice, but that's the priority. G2 now get one final ban here to maybe limit
need a match
what
in
Dokla
Nivi's
can bring out
clear.
up against Broken Blood. They already took the Gnar away, which was one of his best individual performers in their previous series.
Yeah, and a lot of the top laners, have
You
been
hate the
so
Scion?
frustrated with Anivia top because they're like, well,
What do you
there's
pick into it?
there's not really something where you're going to pick and you're going to win. So you pick and you have these other options like the Gnar and like the Cassante where you're still going to be useful to your
Scion,
team
Renekton.
and not lose too much is kind of the goal there. So let's see what Lion decide to reveal first here. I mean, I'm still on the edge of my seat for this answer into the Orianna from Saint. Again, he has all these options for looking for pressure. They had the Xin
Doesn't
early.
look too
so
bad,
they
but I
want
think
to
it's
see
too
if they
early
can
now.
add on one of the Saint specials. He is very good, Dracos. This is a very, very good champion for Saint.
It's good into
He has had some
Ori,
all-star plays
but can't
with
we
it, and it
draft
got
around
buffed
that now?
Since he had some really big carry performances in the LCS with it.
Agreed, but the ego
Can't we
here
go,
is
like-
insane. Like to give over Ori in game 1, say we don't care what you ban in phase 2. They end up not throwing any bans because G2 is so comfortable with the Orianna matchup, and he picks it with like not even incredible ults so far. And they'll probably go into Ash Seraphine, which will be good ults.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend a lot around.
I think
how
first
much
came
pressure
to
they
mind
can
was
have
like-
mid. I mean, that's interesting because I know Berserker now is very comfortable in the Ezreal Karma matchup into Ash
Caitlyn.
Seraphine specifically, and they've been able to get the push,
Caitlyn
land
and
over
Lux
their
aren't the
poke
best
and,
ults for
try
Sylas.
and get that advantage early on over the Ash Seraphine. But the G2 comp scales like
Especially
an
Caitlyn's ult
absolute
you don't want on
freaking
Sylas.
monster death ball. This is a
Ambessa.
crazy death ball team.
Renekton.
And it's
I
gonna
always
depend a
forget
lot
about
on
it.
Can Lion get their pressure points on these lanes, mid and bottom specifically? I want to see how Inspired controls the jungle to be able to affect the mid and the bottom lane. Because if not, I am very, very scared of the G2 ball comp.
My skepticism is high at the moment because I don't see the Sylas or the Renekton getting push in either of those solo lanes. So everything will fall on that bottom lane, and Inspired is going to have to find some way to get his solo lanes out of jail in an early skirmish.
But the story of the tournament thus far for Lion, the last series felt like a team effort, but a lot of series before that, it was Inspired and Berserker back-to-back, holding the line, making those wins come together. But as you've highlighted, the good news is that early Sylas pick, or that late Sylas 4, did set up to punish some of these ultis from G2. There are some decent options for Saint, but the early stages are going to be tough. If you get ahead with this Lion comp, you can no doubt take over the map. You highlighted it so well, Kobe. If we go late, if G2 get to scale, if you have to fight into them, God forbid, it feels like an impossible task.
And the early jungle passes around mid lane can affect it so heavily because even if you don't kill the Sylas, if you pass through and you chunk him or you get a summoner spell, Sylas has to lane by trading his health at all times, and so it makes it very difficult then to continue to keep your CS up and continue to be able to lane. So we'll see if there are early jungle presences near the bottom triangle of the map. And if there are early jungle focus on the bottom half, that leaves Anivia alone versus Renekton, chat.
I mean, it's not great, Kobe.
We'll see.
My anxiety is high, but my hope is also medium. Dracos, how are you feeling?
My anxiety is also incredibly high, and my hope is also medium. I predicted 5-0 in anticipation of any bugs or potential remakes, but at the same time, You know,
Done.
there was one day, it was HLE versus BLG, or HLE versus G2, it looked bad. There's one day that was really good, but those were both just single days. There's not an overall consistent trend of dominance, and I wish there was.
First damage?
To secure comfort. But I'm going to take this for now. First blood, first little bit of trade. Technically not first blood, just first little hit.
First damage.
First damage. First damage at bot, traded back. It's an even game.
And that was a big chunk out of Douglas Health Bar. I mean, honestly, the full electrocute trade from Broken
Yeah.
Blade, really nicely done from him in the brush. So already getting, a health advantage here over Renekton. And Renekton wants to try and build up some fury off of that wave too to be able to operate. But we'll see how they go, because bottom lane is supposed to be our pushing lane, and it depends a lot on do you land your skill shots against the Ashe and Seraphine.
And currently both junglers are pathing top to bot lane to see if either side can get a really big amount of chunk damage. Dokla is going to be in pain for a lot of this lane phase. You almost need to find a window to gank to make that lane better. Otherwise, Dokla's going to have a really tough time.
Yeah, the thing is, I think you have to tell him, Dokla, you're going to have a tough time.
Ezra Karma win the lane now.
I mean, is he
Against
already
Ashe
dead?
Seraphine.
He's getting walked down now.
Until, like,
Looking for a bit
Ashe
of extra
breaks
healing
too.
off the Cold and Meek. Slice and
He's
Dice
good.
already used, but Broken Blade, long cooldowns, but a lot of auto attacks for free when the Renekton is forced to back away.
Because at least for me, the vision to win the game for line is around the mid lane and the bottom lane. And so sometimes you just have to tell Dokla, hey, it's going to be a tough time. But we'll see. We'll see if they actually invest, because it's a tough time already.
Level 3 does make things a bit better, but obviously there's a reason we're so excited about this matchup, and it is not only natural regional rivalries over the
Oh,
years.
we're going back.
But the constant back and forth, the absolute destruction of hope for one region or another. We're always vying
Oh
to
my
take down
God.
the LCK or LPL. In pursuit of that, we're usually knocking each other out
Why
of
are we
tournaments.
only including
Those
the EU wins?
These
Fastest
are painful
BO5
years. The
in
early
history.
years were very bad
Yeah.
for us.
Hey, we found one.
We found one, yeah.
We found one.
What the
EU
fudge are
early years were
energy?
bad, Jet. There's not good tape from
Yeah.
the early years, my guy. I'm
It
sorry
has
to
been
say.
trending upwards. Another one. Look
Another
at this.
good one.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, the memory lane
On
here.
Independence Day, the graphics are devious. That is...
Dude, we even skipped a lot of the number 2 seed stuff that was happening, or even the Worlds playing, but there were so many giant moments back then. I mean, even
Oh,
the
yeah, my
first one,
camera.
Han Sama on that Misfits team were considered such underdogs against that 2017 TSM team. And that's
How
when TSM
petite
decided
I
they had
am.
to go all in on Sven and Mithy, and I mean, it changed the outlook of all esports history, actually, the beginning of these rivalries. So
The course of
I think
our
whoever
lives
wins game 1
altered,
wins it,
honestly.
no?
it goes even further back. Like my first NA-EU memory, I mean, Kobe beat EU at WCG 2010.
2010,
Guys,
baby.
Yeah, that was 16 years ago. So we
I see,
did
I see.
start good. They skipped that.
You did. You guys
I mean-
did. I don't remember any of that, but
Yep.
good for you guys. Staying
Okay.
strong. Who won
So,
Season 1 Worlds, by the way? I can't remember.
I do want to focus on the game because we're going to get our first gank, and their ping's in mid, and they're going to
Gank?
go mid. Uh-oh.
Already
He's
used his
dead.
gone. Q flash. Skewmon thought he had the angle just to finish him off, but a nice
Yeah.
response
Usually
comes out
he
from
dies
Sam,
there
bit of
from
an
EQ
overestimation
flash.
of his individual damage.
Yeah, I mean, big
They
mind
just
game
flash
there, right? Because
Q,
Skewmon
then
could have
E.
EQ'd and flash followed, but he was trying to not commit to the turret completely. Saint able to get his life out of there. I mean, Saint had actually died to an early gank in multiple games last series, so I think really fortunate he's able to survive that one.
And that was one of the early steps that we brought up from Champion Select. Can you get an early gank pass through mid to take away some cooldowns from Sylas? And they do trade their flash. It is worth for jungler to trade their flash with the Sylas mid, because
of
now
course.
Sylas is going to have to call for jungle support to get vision around his lane. Playing into the Orianna without vision around you would be very, very difficult, and so I do like that Isles on his first reset there for the Karma went immediately get the control ward and get the vision through river.
An opportunity now for the next few minutes to maybe capitalize on that missing Summoner's Spell in the mid lane, especially as Caps gets closer to level 6. Skewmon, as well as Inspired, both really just ticking over to level 5, so it's going to be a bit more time before we get those jungler ultis online and available. Similar story for top, though, where Dokla has done pretty well for himself. Broken Blade trying to set up a bit of a freeze here, but once you get past those first 3-4 levels, you're not winning the lane, but at least you can step up, get some CS, and threaten a little bit. For getting stunned there, and the electrocute means that level 6, the dominance, is going to do some work. Getting it ahead of schedule, ahead of
nice.
Broken Blade is very big, but not enough to immediately shift the lane.
The second win in the Doran's Shield have done massive work for Dokla up there, and I'd say Saint spent a lot of his health and his flash to stay even in CS with Caps. This feels like a bit of an early Drake start at the time, but it's a great timing because Saint had already teleported back to have the initial mid push, and the bot lane, because they prioritized this Ezreal Karma so much, that's exceptional, Kobe, to be able to get this first Drake.
Yeah, our bottom triangle is going pretty well. We do have to still be cautious around this flash timer from Saint. That is an area to punish. and Skumon is making another visit from his side where he has the
He's
control
not
ward.
6 though.
But honestly, with Scuttle Crab spawning on that top side too, I think he maybe does a little wrap around here. Now they're going to test Dokla. Looks like he actually cancels it, and they're going to secure the Crab first. Get that level 6 for the Jarvan. When you have Cataclysm, then you for sure return to that mid lane and see if you can get some more out of Sylas.
Root connecting. Exchange for a root as Ash already had procced the slow onto Isles, but neither side able to find 100-0 all in. And of course, Berserker packing the cleanse means it's going to be tough to find kill pressure in the isolated 2v2 here in
This is a pace of game that
Oh.
I'd say when they were at
There
their
we go.
best in the LCS, they had the types of games where they just make sure their farm stays up, they keep the goal close. There'd actually be a bunch of games, even against the mid-tier competition, where they would give over early Drakes just to keep the gold even, because by far and away the strength of this Lion team is their late-game team fighting. So they're probably quite happy with how these first 6 minutes have gone.
Dominus burn top lane, Ruthless Predator to keep the stun going, Broken Blade in the ulti, finds the slow, trying to keep Dokla in that trade, but a very positive trade from Dokla as we see a potential 2v2 breaking out in the bottom lane. So a lot of posturing, a lot of cooldowns traded for lane priority, but nobody has died yet. It was, importantly, the fastest first strike of MSI 26 so far. So
very important, really good. I like that stat.
Nice stat, appreciate it. We had Caps on the desk after his T1 series, and he talked a bit about the scrim set they played against Lion. He said that was extremely bloody, a bunch of remakes, the opposite of what we're seeing here.
Roam from Saint.
Nice angle to connect on
What
the
does he mean, a bunch of
Here,
remakes?
but Saint's already on the way in. Good sidestep on the Hibscond Duct. Flash out from Lebrov. Arrow body blocked by Berserker. Both sides somehow walking away.
Okay, so it is cleanse and heal for flash and heal off of Lebrov, and with the roam timer there from Saint, used to get the extra summoner spell. See about that.
What does that mean,
dragon,
bunch of
because the
remakes?
summoners
Like their
for
connection sucked
Lebrov,
ass?
At least the flash won't be up for that big team fight. And we have seen Seraphine ult flashes have been crazy in turning some of these dragon fights. So maybe Lion will get to keep their dragon stacking going.
And we do see the Grub's about to spawn, already reset, potentially a look towards the top side of the map. Berserker is still going to go pop, but Isles is at least posturing up there. And crucially, Isles level 6, not big for Karma. But what is important is that Lebrov is not level 6. We'll make it that much harder if they want to try and contest.
And Lebrov, even without his flash, feels confident to go up to the Raptor Pit to get that, ward. And they're pinging. They're tracking because of the camps that they saw down already. That Inspired is on the bomb side of the map, so they feel confident. He's re-clearing, and they can get the setup for themselves onto Grubs. So I think that is G2's. They're going to secure that one for sure.
Yeah, giving it away, and Inspired's going to try and take a little bit of pressure on the bottom side here. So using this timer to maybe try and cut Lebrov off, or at the very least, clear this vision.
Han's trying to backstep. Gets away from the wind, becomes lightning. Root does not hit.
Hans he did use his barrier there.
Hansama, no arrow. They're immediately just going to follow up. Instantaneous Crescent Guard. The ulti comes in from Lebrov. It's just a little bit short. Lion, clean, effortless dive. Follow-up ulti coming in from Berserker. Just a bit of chip damage, but ultimately first blood to Lion.
The calculation from Lion.
That's just how that works, man. Can't do that. Can't do that. You can't. Cataclysm, you're dead.
Behind. No way to escape. No slice and dice, but still chasing down Broken Blade. Broken Blade has to be careful here. Dokla hoping he can flash out to safety. Gets him a little bit closer, but Broken Blade
They even have to use it.
Good cross map by Skumon. You could see Dokla couldn't quite get the wave all the way in, and it was really good timing for Skumon to trap Dokla before he could get back to his turret.
Yeah, Dokla on the weak side up there. When Lion had made all these calculations and these calls, hey, they're doing Grubs, so let's go dive bottom side. Let's punish there, and they successfully pull off the play. But Dokla at the same time wanted to egg Broken Blade, and so he ends up trading flashes there. Does not get the egg because Skumon had extra stuff to do and just taking Grubs up there.
There's got to be an element of baiting there for Broken Blade, right? Dokla's been in this difficult lane this entire time. He finally sees a window to get a really good trade and maybe get a bit of an upper hand in the lane, and it ends up backfiring.
And honestly, since we are coming out of such good series from both these top laners, look at how big Dokes was in the previous series and how big Broken Blade was, especially with the Kled game, but truly the entire series. The top lane matchup here, they are coming off of such good series for both of them.
I mean, that Kled game was just legendary. He had 15 kills against
actual legacy game.
It's the most kills a top laner's ever had in the game at MSI. It ties the international record for kills in a game for a top laner. There's one of the best top lane games someone has ever had, and he could have had 16 kills, but he decided to kill the Nexus instead. Like, how insane
Which I
is
think
that?
you take it. He could be in sole possession of that record, but instead, happy to
Might
take
be a
down
big Drake fight here.
the first time as Caps is setting up. Currently just set to be a 50-50, but Lion are stepping forward, threatening for more.
Whoa.
W Flash from Inspired a bit awkward. Finds the initial knock-up onto Skewmon, but has zoned him enough away that they can get the uncontested smite. Shockwave onto only Isles. It's a bit of an awkward start for G2 Saint. Looking to find some impact with this arrow. Good side
Yo,
step from
Jesus,
Caps. The
just
movement
get
speed
us
from the
into
heel.
fucking
But as much
airports.
as we wanted a bloodbath, as much as that's what we heard happened in scrims, there's not a lot of blood or bathing happening on the Rift right now. Top lane at least giving us a little bit of action here as the Dominus is forced out.
Yeah, very necessary ult right there from Dokla to get the extra health to survive the electrocute proc from Broken Blade. On bottom side too, you know, Isles soaks up that the shockwave from Caps. He does not flinch. He does not flash out of it. He's like, yeah, I'm fine with just the heal. He soaks it, and then Berserker, after the shockwave is used, can go in and they push their way right back out after taking the dragon. So Lion, everything is still going according to plan. You know, they're trying to play off the bottom triangle, as we said, keep those dragons stacking, play towards their soul.
But I think the good news for Lion is oftentimes when you see topside objectives like the Grubs traded for Dragons, usually the topside objectives also come with a gold lead. But Berserker, 20 CS up over Hans, single-handedly ensuring that they not only have started to stack the Drakes on a Hextech Soul nonetheless, but they've also got this gold lead, which while small is significant because it's the difference of having this Trinity Force Ezreal, a very expensive first spike in the next fight, and not having it.
I mean, we look at the gold, not only does it line up with who we think the top performers on Lion are, it also lines up with what should be happening. Like, these are tough soul lane matchups that Dokla and Saint are playing.
And look at the map right now. So they've got the extra teleport for Lion, so they're keeping the split push on bottom side while G2 are overloading top. And Lion have the choice. All right, are we just going to trade and keep Saint on bottom side? It looks like that's the call, and G2 will make the push for the first turret bonus.
So here's the question. We know that Lion likes generally slower games, but I also don't feel like this G2 composition loves to play fast. Like the Orianna, Jarvan, Anivia, and the Death Ball that we talked about in draft, they should also be comfortable in a slow pace of game.
And I think Lion really prefer, if Inspired's like, you know what, our approach to this fight has, you know, like a 5% chance lower success rate than like a normal fight.
Take the next fight.
Let's not do it. Yeah, it's like, you know what? Let's just keep on focusing bottom of the map. The dragons, the dragons, the dragons. And so they do trade, yes. First turret bonus for, you know, for G2, and they do increase that lead. Broken Blade is the highest goal difference, of course, with his Anivia matchup. Very nice for him, of course, with the extra, you know, kill to his name. And we did say how Broken Blade is coming into this match as the literal hero of Europe with their previous series. Usually it's Caps, and you're like, international Caps. But Broken Blade, you know, really shining through, and in this game on the Anivia, he could be a menace.
Yeah, but it's not enough to have that gold advantage, right? We see this so often in top lane. 600, 700 gold. If you can't turn it into a greater advantage for the team, it might not matter much. And the Anivia is not the Kled. It can't single-handedly start fights. It needs that setup. It needs to have the team around oftentimes. So G2, a lot of pressure on them for the next Drake. 2 minutes before they're going to have to fight for that. 1 minute until the Herald spawns, and we'll see if that's the kind of fight that Lion are looking for.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting because G2's comp is very well set up to handle a lot of the melees on Lion, but Lion also have the Ezreal and Karma poke. So yes, the Ashen, Seraphine, and Anivia are very, very difficult for like Xin, Silas, and Renekton to have a, you know, fun team fight in. But they also have some poke there with Berserker and Isles to try and work off beforehand. And if they can get a flank, it can be devastating. Saint here, if he steals away one of those big CC ults, but...
So on to Berserker, Skewmon, waiting in the side brush, hoping to just fight for the Scuttle Crab. 20 seconds again till the Herald spawns. Lions sizing up their options. The battle for mid-prio pretty even so far. Now, Caps has been sent bottom lane to respond to that wave pressure, but still has TP, so can join the fight if needed.
Very respectful from both teams, just trying to stack up these small advantages as Skewmon is on the way. Dokla has flash and R.
Wall is there, only going to get
nice
the slice. He's trying to have the dice, now has to turn back with the Dominus, hoping to find Broken Blade. Immediate TP in, TP response coming in from G2, but Dokla just going to back away. We're set up for a 5v5 on the top side of the map. It's only 1-1, 15 minutes in. Will we finally see a fight as G2 are a bit split? Lion have all 5 members together. Caps flash away from Inspired. Inspired locked up, but it's Broken Blade isolated. Forced to flash as well. Ulti again from LeBron. Only going to hit one. Immediate
Good
McHale's going in.
flash, he's
LeBron
dead.
ultimates to the entire team. They get a decent combo on the side of G2, but it's
Nice
Skewmon
steal.
now caught in Saint, who steals away the Cataclysm, takes the double. He's just using G2's ultis better.
Saint goes in huge at the end of that fight. You could see Inspired calculated that
Good
he
fight.
wanted that fight. He kept it going on this in, and it's a 2-for-1.
And it's about the team getting together, connected in the river first. Look at the early move from the bottom lane. The Ezreal Karma moving up first. So Dokla creates the space. He flashes it on Broken Blade to create the time for the arrival of the TP. And then here Inspired runs towards his bottom lane. So the chase from Caps and the rest of them get pincered.
And we knew Berserker Niles were stronger, so they're the ones that actually joined this fight first. Hansam and Labrov can't really become involved in this fight. And then when Inspired flies over the wall, he's really forcing this fight to happen, which keeps G2 engaged. And since Saint had the Cataclysm at the end, he can end it.
Yeah, I swear, it's just such a big difference of impact from the bottom lanes with the Ash Arrow hitting nobody, Dracos going wide, and the Seraphine ult only connecting on one and immediately getting cleaned off. I mean, that was immediate reactions there from Lion and from the rest
ADCs
of
look
the team. They're
useless
going to
there.
pick up the Dragon after that. It is a huge, huge fight. The domino effect for the rest of the game.
Soul point now for Lion with a gold lead. A good start.
It is Lion Sweet G2 in the most... Oh no, that would be horrible. Please G2, don't let that happen. Please G2, I'm begging
Better than
you.
anyone expected in their wildest dreams, and Saint is performing in this game.
Yeah, perfect territory for the fight for them too, with Silas having that mobility in the scrap over the wall here.
Please, I'm
nice
rooting
little
for
move from
G2,
him.
bro. Lion,
And
please don't
Silas
win,
had the
bro.
quick reaction with the Mikhail
I think
that
only
cleanse off
G2
from
could beat
Dokla,
actually
single
right
hit
now.
on
You
the
guys
ult.
suck.
So now we're already looking 5 minutes again in the
You guys
future.
suck
Yeah, I feel
ass.
like this game is the History Channel meme of dragons. Because the dragon soul, a Hextech soul on Ezreal Karma is insane.
They're
Here we
going.
Arrow.
Ash Arrow. It
Still gonna get
connects.
connect. Skewmon hit. Initial knock up there. Stun CC fall. Finally, Labrov gets a good ult, but it doesn't matter because his jungler is already dead.
Getting massive value from
This
the
man
Silas
is
here, Kobe.
already
Yeah,
dead.
he steals another great ult. He uses it to headshot Skewmon. The EQ in line with the trajectory of the Ash Arrow, and they find the kill anyway.
This game could definitely change off of one great shockwave or one great wall, but it is a little bit difficult for G2 to force fights, in part because of Lion's itemization here. Look at this. 3 pairs of Merc Treads on the top side of the map, and then also a Mikhail's from the Karma. So
I was looking at that
are
caster,
very
thank you.
difficult to hold in place.
2-item
and then you
Ezreal.
have a Cleanse Ezreal and a Mikhail's support, a very elusive team that Lion's become here.
Very true, and of course the difficulty now is with Lion having 3 Drakes already. They're very likely to get first set up on the 4th Drake, and you can see the picture-perfect team fight for G2, but you can see the bad version. It's the version we saw before, where they're not grouped up, when they can't get all of those ultis together, hitting multiple members, whereas Lion, they can play from multiple angles. They want those little flanks. They want to split G2 up. They already did it once, and if they do it one more time, it means soul for them.
Dracos, the next team fight carries so much weight in this game.
Yeah, yes it does.
G2, can they get their dream set up? The previous fight is anything but that. They're split, the inside route for the Ezreal Karma means everything, and it was the perfect scenario for Lion to come out ahead. But, as you say, if G2 can utilize their vision-gaining tools, the hawkshot, and approach how they want to actually construct their team fight, I think it could be a completely different story, and me and Jack may end up crying.
I mean, it could happen. You never know how these games are going to end. I'd say the game plan going in, though, Lion had to survive the top lane early and
Oh
not
my
give G2
gosh, that
advantages.
poke,
G2
holy
didn't get the
shit.
advantages from the mid and top, but Lion did get their advantage from their bottom lane. So in terms of like which bets paid off for them, Lion won the bot lane bet, and the Anivia an 11 CS lead and the 1 gank kill, probably not the edge they wanted.
And really, Lion
2
betting
item
on
in area.
themselves, giving up meta power picks like the Orianna to prioritize their 2v2 winning bot, and it has paid off. Again, the gold lead has shrank a bit. It was 1K earlier on, but we're coming into this next Drake. If anyone wants to go for early Baron, although I doubt that's going to happen, next Drake, 2-item power spike for the Ezreal. You've heard us talk about this for like a gajillion years of League of Legends, but in this game, this is the strongest point for Berserker. He already had one good fight, so as you highlighted, if G2 can get that perfect wombo combo setup, they have an edge in the fight. If they get this vision, if they can fight for it. But if not, it's easy to see how it could all fall apart.
It absolutely is. G2 has the item power spikes right now, though. 2 full items for Broken Blade. Caps just completing his 2nd item as well. So they are definitely stronger in terms of taking this vision. And Lion has to cede control, which is going to make it pretty difficult to get back. The strength of these Ashe Seraphine comps when they were really in vogue was if they're first to a spot, it's really hard to walk in through the Seraphine poke and the Ash Volleys.
Yep. Saint gonna collect the rest of the gold off the top side of the map, pushing while G2 get this setup that you're looking at on your screen right there around the dragon, and that is key. As we said, the setup for this fight, now that everybody is very, very, very close in power, pretty even. If Saint can finish his second item after getting the rest of the gold from top, which I assume he's doing right now, then there we go. We're gonna be even Stevens basically going into this team fight. And it is a lot about the setup. So now though, with the reset from G2, they just invested all these control wards, and looks very easy for Lion to move in and just clean them out, just like that.
Yeah, very nice of them, and Mabye had to go catch top. Pet peeve of mine, Saint always builds this item on Silas, even when he's solo AP. He doesn't have the team benefit from Shred, but I had to point it out, I don't think it's optimal. It is a Saint special.
Good news for him is he gets a lot of other things from his team composition. Is now we're setting up for a trap in the jungle. Labrov, just barely getting away from the Wind Becomes Lightning.
So we opted for G2 priority on bot side to enter, but the Crocodile in the brush here, I mean, he's so far away, I don't know if that matters.
He could at least pressure someone
Might show
if
the wave.
G2 decides to engage. He doesn't really do anything if he's walking straight up, so Dokla has to hold the flank.
Oh man, he's got a good flank though.
Battle Herald.
Where is that
especially
going?
with Skewmon running away.
Where's it going to go? Saint ready to come over the wall. Dokla ready to go from behind. The Seraphine being pinged out already. He's just taking it for a lap, baby.
Here we go.
Two, perhaps, the engage. Nope, gonna crash into the wall. Wall set up, though. Crystallize a lot of ranks there already, but they spot Dokla on the side. They're trying to isolate him out of the fight instantaneously. Fighting back.
Oh my gosh. Good flash ult, though, but it's useless. Skewmon Cataclysm trades out.
To peel off Dokla. 4v4, support down for top laner. Broken Blade stepping up. The flip going in.
Huge Ezreal ult.
Just barely able to escape the Defiance from Isles, keeping him standing. Berserker on the front lines, but Cap's the one to walk forward. The Orianna that they gave him, delivering kills for G2.
I don't think there's anything more, though.
Team fight by G2 and an even clutcher smite by Skewmon. If they give over the Hextech Soul there, they probably lose the fight.
I think Dokla went on the wrong person.
End, but they definitely
I bet everyone's Seraphine and she got her ult off.
The critical moment of this game. What could be the turning point of the entire game right there. And Labrov with his dying breath, even with this huge flank from Renekton, he does get off his flash ulti, and it buys a tiny bit of time. Then they focus down the Renekton, they're able to turn the fight. Berserker really wanted to A Caps, and he eased forward in order to A Caps. That gives over an extra kill, Dracos, and your Death Ball comp just bought a lot more time to scale.
And it's looking nice. And I think a big part of that is the gold lead in top lane does actually end up mattering. Dokla doesn't have
it was
a second
insane to fight.
If he has Sterix in that fight, it looks very different. The additional tenacity, that massive shield, this game really the tightest margins, the littlest differences. The R flash here. Dokla does his best on the flank, but let's see how it plays out.
I can see Saint over on the left. He's a little late to enter this fight, but it's really about whether or not they get the one shot off. He lands a 3-man charm that buys crucial seconds. Then they're able to focus out Dokla, and Inspired, the one criticism has been his smites. Let's watch this one, Kobe.
W here, and yeah, and then it's just a fair smite to be able to try and finish it with all the extra damage taking. And Berserker, as we said, he wanted to go for the egg, walked very aggressively towards Orianna's zone right there, and Caps punishes nicely.
Saint couldn't re-enter the fight. Inspired had no ultimate. Everyone had to retreat. Berserker needed to let that one go.
And of course, we did see the stolen Orianna ultimate immediately flashed away from it. Does mean that Hansama is also going to be down a flash in the next fight. We'll see how quickly these teams want to potentially contest a Baron, as it's 4 members on the top side from Lion.
And we had talked about Knight being undefeated on Orianna, Caps as well with a good record on Orianna right there.
Well, they did get his egg.
Broken Blade. Egg already gone.
Yeah.
They're looking for a full breakfast here on the top side. Down goes the bird. Little fried chicken for Lion.
Let's see how aggressive they want to get here. They don't have an extremely fast Baron here, and Saint doesn't have a great ultimate yet, but Lion, if they start this, would likely look to turn to create a fight. Watch the Dokla flank.
Dokla on the flank, hoping to bait G2 in, knowing their man advantage should mean a net win, but again, the AoE ultis from G2. Count how many members they hit, and you will know the fate of the fight.
Their Baron is just so slow. This is so obviously a bait from them. Let's see if G2 is waiting for the fight.
Okay, Inspired is
Saint moving
a little bit lower. Saint on the flank should have access to the Cataclysm if he wants it, but taking his time to pick an option. Does now grab it. Cap solo, zoning Dokla. The Baron is very, very slow.
Yeah, they can't do
Berserker's
this.
health bar is also just getting chipped away. So G2 buying a lot of time very well, not overplaying into their hands, as now Doku's been caught out. Dominus on the side. Lion looking for a bit of re-engage onto Skewmon, hoping to split this fight. Instantaneous engage from Saint, but now LeBron multi-man ultimate. Hansama already dead, but it might not matter because the ball is there. Just in time, pass to Skewmon. But Lion, they don't hesitate.
One for
Eyes on the chase
one.
for Skewmon. Perhaps Lion can turn back to the Baron. It's a scrappy exchange. Caps is still there. Hexgate keeping Skewmon alive means there's no play left for Lion. They're forced to back away.
What an escape from Skewmon. He flashes to break the tether, then goes all the way around to the Hex Gate. Crazy fight. I need to shout out Caps though, because in the previous fight, he also zoned off the Silas in the flank, and this time around, he found Doklo for the flank. But here goes the big engage. Again, Seraphine ultimate over 2, but you got the immediate cleanse on the Berserker from Isles using the KLs. Skewmon deletes him though, going in and assisting with the shockwave.
And punishing the cooldowns from the last fight. Lion doesn't win big,
It's
but you can
kinda
see
huge.
why they're such respected team fighters. No egg on Broken Blade at the start, no flash on Hansama when Saint goes in to finish it. But I also want to shout out Skewmon's team fighting. He's been exceptional this game.
Certainly has, and making the nice escape there, using his flash to be able to get around back to the Hex Gate. Have to say, giving over the Orianna to Caps, you know, a lot of people flamed giving over the Orianna to Knight, but Caps, the little things that he did, again, counting and marking those flankers. The last time you saw him spacing Saint and
40
Saint
seconds,
not being able to
Derek.
get good ult and being able to connect at the same time as Dokla's flank was
Arm
critical.
guard
And
on
this time,
Saints.
being able to start it out as well through the lane. Also,
Free item
very nice
Ezreal.
for where they started it.
But 30 seconds until the next Drake. 3 full items for Berserker. He is at a massive power spike here, but G2 have the inside track to the river.
No flash quite yet. Won't have cleanse in the fight either, so needs to play
This will
flawlessly.
decide it.
Tails will be up shortly as well, giving it a little bit more leeway to get aggressive, to get up in the faces of G2. But we've highlighted it so well. If you have to fight into this G2
damage.
composition, you see why this is a nightmare. Inspired, forced to pull the trigger, recognizing he has to go now. Ulti, isolating Broken Blade, locked up by the Cataclysm, and it's a flank from Saint. Flashed away from the arrow, though. It's Hansama and Caps retreating, pulling away. Dokla into their back line, though. The Abscon, the abduct, the follow.
Holy shit,
Caps
Saint.
isolated and alone, hoping to find the command attack, but he times it wrong. He doesn't
Oh
have the
my
space.
gosh, Saint, if he hit that.
Survives, and in the meantime, Berserker is dishing out damage. T2 on the
3-3, and they
rope.
lose
members
Drake.
still standing though. It's an extended fight. St.
Oh,
Lo has
you're
access
taking
to
too
the
many
healing, but
Qs
he
though.
has to go in to get it. So instead, opting to recall. No TP available means G2 desperate to get the Drake in the meantime. Flag over the wall. Dokla there. Command protect. The dissonance.
Guys,
to
you
back up
can't
the
be
additional
there.
movement speed. Both sides.
Can they even
blinking
do
health
Drake now?
bars.
Saint doesn't have teleport, but he does have Hex Gates to try and return to the fight. If they keep the scramble going,
Oh my
what a
gosh.
scramble there. They found the engage on
another
Inspired,
fight.
but he says full set now, and all of Lion
Orianna will
attack
have
to
ult.
defend. It's
Saint
pretty
still has
even for
ult.
the setup.
And how long was that fight? Inspired died at the start. He's back, taking the gates out again. Who can remember the summoner spells? Hans, no flash. Lebrov, no flash. Berserker, no summoners. Drake started again.
Seeker down for Saint as well. Lion are first to the play. Caps walking in, but he's exposing himself to vulnerability. Immediate control ward to spot out Isles, trying to keep that ready for
They're gonna
Dokla.
flip it.
All coming in from Saint, but there's no follow-up. He's gonna try to solo make the play happen. Skewmon isolated in the pit, forced to get out. They just want the soul. Instantaneous turn. They have to get it. Lion can
Oh my gosh.
certainly get the soul.
Lion are gonna
Now
sweep.
extend the ball
Lion are
to
gonna
G2.
sweep.
The Lion
What a fight that
tearing
was.
them to pieces.
Saint is smurfing.
Silas is crazy with it. He goes in, he makes the play onto LeBron, and Lion are gonna take the soul. They're gonna take the Baron as well.
Stacking advantages throughout
Saint
the
is
game. Peaking in game one,
unbelievable,
Kobe. This
bro.
is insane. This team fighting from
I thought he was
Lion.
going to steal
my
Ori
goodness, it
ult
was
at
so
first, but he goes for
close to
Seraphine and
G2.
instantly
Constant
flashes
fights back
onto
and forth,
Hansama
pushing them. The
on
previous one
Ashe.
was so even with just the 2 kills each. But this one critically means everything with the soul, with the Baron, with the map control. G2, they need to go.
Oh, look at the
into
gold on
damage
him.
control
Top
now.
lane
They
difference.
have to defend
Oh my
very
God.
safely your jungle income and at your towers.
I mean, this was crazy. How much
Look
time
right on
Saint bought.
Hansama.
He gets the charm onto Hans,
But there's no
crucially, pushes
follow-up,
everyone on the fight
but
to the left,
Lebrov
so the Dokkan
thinks
Inspired can
he
push
has to
Skewmon
cover
out
for
of the pit,
Hansama
and
and
buy
gets
the time. And
one-shotted.
the craziest thing is they still have the re-engage after it.
incredible stuff coming in from the side of Lion. Again,
And then
the
Hex Tech
recognition
solo,
to
bro.
back away,
Jarvan did his
realizing
best
Satan
in
has bought you
pit, but
the
he's
space
just
you
getting...
need to secure
The
that
whole time
objective
Jarvan was
uncontested,
in the pit, just waiting for his team to
instantaneously
move
turning
up,
on
but...
to make sure there is no
yeah.
chance for a 50-50. Doesn't matter if Inspired's missed a few, if the enemy jungler
Oh my
cannot
god, Berserk
participate in
Smurf
trying to
was
take
huge
that
at the end
objective.
too.
A
Like of the
massive
previous
fight
fight.
from Doku as well highlighted, Jack, and the damage numbers are only going up for the side of Lion now that they have the soul.
Yeah, the fact that Saint escaped back to the Dragon afterwards too was crazy after that commitment in.
Yeah, because that was the ending fight, the beginning fight. Like Saint basically 1v2ing to kill Han Sama, getting out of that initial fight with like 10% health so he could base and take the Hex Gates out. It's all connected. I mean, look at the game this guy's been having. Lanes into Caps's undefeated in 2026 Orianna, stays close enough, finds the skirmishes, is currently sitting 5-0-4 in this game one.
Really good understanding of his own strength, the power of the upgraded Merc Treads as well, buying him so much space. Remember, he didn't have Seekers in the previous fight. He didn't have the money, had to use it in the previous play, but now he does. Now he has the full Hourglass available to try to threaten G2, to try to split them up so they can't get that perfect Wombo combo that now, it used to be a little optional, now it is mandatory that these key ults connect on multiple members each and every single fight.
Yeah, G2 now, again, go into damage control. Try and farm safely, keep your income up, try and play off a grouped team fight, a front to back here, and make some use out of these key ultimates. If Saint is gonna steal your Seraphine ult and then make the engage and make that much space before you're able to use
Yeah, I
your
like
Ashe
Kate
and your
looks
Seraphine
better
and your
here.
Jarvan and your front line, then it completely defeats the purpose altogether.
Berserker just completes Endless Hunger as well, so 4 full items on this Ezreal. 313 CS, 10 CS per minute, 1,500 gold lead over Han Sama, and the Hextech Soul Ezreal poke is just absurd. Lion, especially with the Karma and the 3 pairs of Merc Treads, I don't feel like they're going to go for a hard engage. They just need to bait and poke G2 and then
Dokla
take
was
the fight
struggling
G2
to get
brings it
2
back.
items for
Exactly,
Anivia,
it's the
now he
Green
gets the whole
Soul
Spirit
for
Vistage.
this Lion composition. They rolled quite nicely on that one. And so they're going to do the 3-1-1 split push here. Just a slight variation and keep Saint on the bomb side with his teleport. Again, he's a level 16 Sylas with Azonia's huge playmaking potential even without his flash.
I mean, 1-3-1 or 3-1-1 is a little bit risky. A lot of teams, if you're up against an Ashe, you'd want a more 4-1, but they're getting away with it for now. Saint able to get the solo gold and pretty much the entire turret. And now you can see Inspired joining the other 4. I like this.
Additional gold, 4,000 gold advantage on top of the soul as G2 are forced back here.
Hey,
Shockwave on
Dokla's
Dokla,
dead.
hoping to get a pick, but instead they're kicking off a fight. Caps isolated.
Oh
ulti
my
from
gosh,
LeBron.
the
Good,
damage
immediate
from
cleanse comes
Dokla.
out from Berserker. Dokla's still
Mantra
gonna walk
is
away.
crazy,
Waves becoming
too.
light, and Skumon's in trouble. Just barely able to walk that one off. No true shot barrage there, but now it's
Oh
LeBron
my
getting
gosh.
sacrificed to the Lamb's Lion, going for the throat. Finding that single kill, still have pressure in the bottom lane. Broken Blade trying again to make the difference. TP into the bottom lane as well, but it's going to cost them the inhibitor just to go for this play. Saint looking to find a way out. Healing there. Extra
No way,
400.
Caps, you just
forced
did
to
that.
flash back. Saint, 2.5 seconds.
He's gonna have
Gets space
cooldowns.
for his team to get out in the other play.
Oh,
Let's go
he's
in.
dead,
Nice
he's dead.
sidestep from Caps means 1,000 gold
Okay.
shutdown.
That is a huge shutdown for the hope of
Ow!
Caps. Orianna does get paid for the loss of their inhibitor. And the only one they lost at that inhibitor was Lebrov Seraphine.
Yeah. That's a really good play by G2 to be able to have the 1-for-1.
Elder,
I actually
2
credit
minutes.
most of that to Broken Blade for trading so aggressively.
Dude, this
on the
Orianna
1-for-1
build looks like shit,
as
though.
they're
What the
losing fight on
fudge?
the other side, because that
He needs
11
Randuins
gold
before
is
this
going to be
Elder.
usable at this Elder fight. It's the window back into the game. They're with the Anivia. They can likely push that wave out far enough to give them an opportunity to 5v5 at the Elder.
No, he's not
Humont
gonna
and
get it.
Caps as a duo, the synergy when delivering shockwaves have been incredible with it in key moments. Let's see if they can fight their way out of a Hextech Soul, because even with that Hextech Soul at the last inhibitor, you saw them trying to chase them down, not able to just finish off a few of those kills.
Some fairly important cooldowns burned as well. No cleanse on Berserker, no flash on Inspired, although he does still sit on that GA. If Caps could somehow get to his death cap before that fight, it would be huge, but I don't know if he'll have time.
Nice.
But it
Yes,
goes both
it
ways.
is.
No flash for Caps.
I don't
flash
know,
for
it
Han
could go
Sama.
either
Caps
way,
having
man.
To respect even a low health Saint. Potential for him to re-engage, he'll right back up with that W. So did flash in that previous play. G2 potentially going to be forced into approaching from this choke point. Now it's going to take a long time for Lion, even as strong as they are, to kill an Elder Dragon.
BBTP.
This many stacks in terms of Drake's
He
overall
pushed it as
is
much
now
as he could.
G2
All
ready for the
G2
5v5.
or all
Lion's
line have to
objective
just
damage is
stall a
not
little
that
bit.
fast. If they get it low, they're at risk of a steal. So I think it's going to be this poke war, and I think it's very unlikely we get to a flip situation. Who can fight whom?
Engage on Berserker. shift backwards. True shot barrage across the team. Ball hoping to match flanker. Saint instantly from behind.
Oh, they're
Shot
dead.
whip to pull in
GG.
two. Continuing
They're gonna
to
get
move forward,
swept.
Dismantling the back line of G2.
Nothing you can do against
And it's
Hector
Big
Soul. They
Dogs
tried.
leading the charge. G2 wanted to contest the Elder, and now they're getting knocked out of the game.
Again, it's the Saint of North America. He finds the flank and he shockwaves both G2.
Oh, this is gonna be sweep. It's
Saint
gonna be the
has
worst
played
sweep ever. Cagel's gonna be
incredibly.
miserable
Ryan's
for
gonna
years.
push it in for a game 1 win.
Caps' Oriana. We thought they might have doubted it, but he dismantled it. Lion, better in
picking
the
your
fights, better in the early game. G2 sent reeling in game 1 as Lion strike the first blow in this best of 5 for the LCS.
You gotta pray the
and
VOD
North
ends for like
America.
some reason.
And all business for Lion after game
I
1.
mean, if
That is
G2
a
win this game,
calm,
it's even then.
cool, and collected team
But like,
here to try
do you
and take care
deadass
of
think we have time for that? Look at the time.
No, I can't say it was
2
unexpected.
hours
It
17.
was the result.
There's
We
40
all knew
minutes
what
at
was
the
gonna
end for
happen.
interviews.
I called it
So what is
from
that?
the
An
start.
hour
I
20.
laid out the facts. No one would listen
It's
to me
just sweet,
though.
bro.
What can you say? Kobe was listening. He's pointing at me. Jeff was too.
Let the
Bro.
record show, I doubted them the entire time.
I almost
But I
wiped
should not
over the
have,
thing.
Because St. Silas is absolutely correct.
Look at this Silas.
His-
I'm gonna
his
have
Silas is
nightmares
disgusting.
about this.
Yeah, it's like the Shy and now with the Saint as well. Like, oh, that was an insane combo. This man played out of his mind this game.
Yeah.
And Emily, right off the bat, you said Saint Silas is something to be feared here in this
Yes.
game. He popped off so much.
All right.
As soon as he locked it in draft, I was like, okay, first of all, it's just a good Silas angle. Second of all, he's 4-1 on this champion. It's his second most played all time in his career. He's so good on this pick.
And I think it's speed can replicate that success.
12
as we
minutes
get
in
ready
between.
For game 2 and head into Champion Select.
It's over,
powered
bro.
by
Like
HyperX.
G2 are doing the
Alive and
HLE
well,
thing.
The
I'm
nerves
sorry.
are out, but the
Bye,
fear, the
Jace.
fear is alive and well for the European fans because that was an incredible game 1
Rise.
from Lion.
Don't be a game 1 Andy Dracos.
Cassio.
I've been there as well.
Bard.
You know, G2, they've already reverse swept at this very
Oritos,
tournament. And they're not
Akali.
even that far into this series anyway, so I expect some
Knock
alterations
is out.
from G2, especially for bottom lane.
Zin,
It
Jarvan
was
are
a bit
both
surprising
out in the
to pick
Fury.
Ashe Seraphine into the Ezreal.
All these are
Karma,
out. Or
and
sorry,
it certainly
these
did
are
not
out.
perform. I think EU
Or
fans
no,
will
this is
probably
out too.
already at this tournament start to have some Seraphine
Nocturne's out.
trauma, whether it is
Yeah.
Hans piloting
Yeah.
it or whether it is Lebrov highlighting it. So I do expect
Rumble,
them to take
that's
some more
weird.
proactive approach to this draft.
And I'll say I'm just never been more happy to see Fearless. They can't pick it
There
again.
you
God
go.
bless. You know, we can move on.
True,
We can
true,
move
true.
past
Akali's
that
up.
portion of this best of 5.
I think there's a strong
Akali's up,
desire to see
Nefiri is
LeBron
up,
on a
Bard is up,
playmaking champion.
Cassio's
That
up.
last game really was a slow bleed through the bottom lane, and then Saint and Dokla found angles in team fights. So we'll see what direction they take here as it appears.
Varus is up. Always forget
it's
about
Lion
Varus.
with the first pick.
Varus, of course, a flex.
You go Akali.
Nice to have into Broken Blade and Hansama. Generically strong 2v2 bottom laner even after the hits, but also has some really strong topside matchups.
Akali
So
and
that's something that
Fury.
G2 are going to have to contend with as they debate what their
Or
options
Lee.
are in this
Doesn't
first
scheme
rotation.
on like
Do they
Lee
want to
Sin.
prioritize that bot lane 2v2 more, or will we see a continued priority on the topside picks?
Yeah, and
You just go
G2,
bot
like,
lane
they
here,
can
like
hold their
Bard.
counter pick really long here. Broken Blade has a lot of
Uh-oh.
specialty stuff.
Oh,
like
my thing's in
Yasuo
the
and
way,
such.
fudge.
So we'll see where the flexibility ends up on that Varus and what sort of counter picks they end up going
Ziggs
for.
Camille.
But we are going to get the Ziggs, the mage bottom lane now. Draco's hands on his head already.
Look, there's been a lot of times since I've seen Hans play a mage. You know, I remember the Vladimir in 2018. I'm very nervous about the Ziggs, especially against Berserker, who's had some all-star performances on this pick. That said, Ziggs, very powerful in the meta. On paper, if I turn the nameplate off, this is a fine first pick.
What
I'm
the
just nervous to
fuck
see
is
if the
this?
execution is going to be there for Hansama and Lebrov.
And one of the biggest things about mages to me is that they
Inspired
give
is
the
cooking
support,
so
that
hard.
playmaking opportunity that people are looking for Lebrov.
Inspired's gonna go
Lebrov,
Trundle,
if
and it's
you're
gonna
looking
be
at the entire
miserable.
tournament overall, has definitely outclassed Isles, and so him getting more time to
100% he
roam
goes
with
Trundle
the
here.
Nautilus here, you know, whatever Skumon decides to pick to pair with the Nautilus
You go
there
Trundle
could
Nico
be
to match.
just what G2 needed to get back into the series.
And we need to remember
Varus
that this is also
Leona.
G2, so they might flex that Ziggs to the mid.
Is
It was
this Leona
originally
like a
the
top
mid-lane
pick
champion.
nowadays?
It's not guaranteed that this is Hansama.
I'm balding, bro.
I think Lion
It's-
wouldn't be surprised by that either. Is there they're the team that flex picks like crazy. We know for sure that Varus is top or bot. We know it's a flex pick.
I will just say, saying after every single G2 pick that it might be a flex pick qualifies you to be an LEC caster. It's like the #1 thing that you have to hit every time they pick anything.
Is it the Nautilus jungle?
Nautilus mid, maybe. Shout out Doinby. Shout out whatever
Wow.
Messiah was that we all did
Inspired
there for a little
Lee Sin,
while.
really.
But Lee Sin, the debate here, we've already seen.
Well, I
Leader
guess
Bars,
this was
which if it is the
99%.
is pretty powerful in the early lane, but the Lee Sin, a big playmaker for Inspired.
It's a big power pick this tournament, but it's also a pick that
The
I'd
Fury.
say fans of both of these teams don't love seeing their jungler on. Inspired
The Fury
loves
or
to
pick
be
the
cool
Kali.
and calculated, and I feel like Lee Sin is a champ that just has to take 50-50 skirmishes and outplay you in order to get an advantage, and that's usually not Inspired's game. Skumon had a
Cassio, I
similar
forgot
game on
Cassio's
it
up.
as well, so we'll see what happens here as they also take the Cassio, which was the mage counter that other people have been taking into the Ziggs. So
Oh, wait, Kali
those are
ban.
technically two flexible champions, but it's very unlikely we see an AD bot now, Kobe.
Yeah, with 2 protection bans for the Cassio as well. So they
Syndra,
can just
okay.
ban away the Syndra and follow
Bard's
up
still
Cass
up, but
with
obviously
extra
he's not
protection
going to be
here
picked.
for the mid lane.
We have a Kali,
Now,
Nefiri,
those extra mid lane bans out, and I will say,
Ben
that
Nefiri.
team was quick to correct me. I might be a doubter of the mages, but on Ziggs at least, Hansama is 3-0.
Who else jungler sucks
Sometime in the
into
early
Varus?
2020s. It's not the 2018 Vladimir that I'm lamenting and looking at his stats page now about. So a little bit more comfort there. But with double AP, as you've highlighted, we are looking to see a little bit more physical damage in the top
They're
lane, setting
banning
us up
for
for a
tops.
potentially more volatile
Just
top
Nara's
lane
up.
1v1.
All right, you get the Vayne out. That kind of opens
There's
it
a
up for
Kali.
some other options of some blind picks as well. So definitely kind of hinting
Vayne
at
makes
the
me think,
possibility
yeah.
of the bottom lane Varus getting a little stronger.
Yeah, they need to find good AD damage
Oh,
in
fuck.
top jungle. Broken Blade has a lot of quirky picks here because the Vayne would have been more of the obvious ones. The Jace would have been more of an obvious one. Those are obviously banned away.
Poppy's
and
still
we still
up.
know that
That's
Varus is a
crazy.
flex. Although seeing with what
Just go no
is
Fury.
available, I'm expecting that Varus to go
I've
bottom
wrote
lane
it 2
into the
times,
Ziggs.
bro,
We'll
and you're
just have to see
hovering
how it goes.
Evelyn.
Getting some stressful hovers here that I think are entirely fake. The
You're
Poppy
going
ban
not
away, I do
jungle.
like to see that. Does make a lot of sense up against
You
the
tried to
Lee Sin. If
beta
Fiona
a
really
not
shuts down
jungle
their
and
ability to make
counter
anything
pick
happen,
Blitzcrank.
Should be an
You are
AD.
stuck.
Lock this in, and this
You're so
Nautilus is a
goofy, it's
flex.
insane.
No,
No.
it's an AD jungle pick right here.
Surely.
Almost has to be.
Sure. It is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Pantheon's a great pick. I mean, the Jarvan, the Xin are already gone. The Vi's banned out. The Lee Sin's there. It's just another one of the Thunder Sky junglers.
And it's not Camille, but it does give you a lot of the same immediate CC setup if Ziggs is in the proximity in the area, and it gives you another kind of
Pantheon's
semi-global
okay.
long-range ability to maybe punish whatever side laners do come out from the side of Lion.
Exactly. You already have Ziggs, so you can join fights from pretty far away, and Pantheon ultimate as
picking
well. So
those.
lots of potential there.
Yeah, they know.
For affecting side lanes very quickly, and you already have very good wave clear as well.
If this Nar's locked, I think Broken Blade's Yasuo is an inevitability. That's just, they're just okay with that matchup, it feels like, unless Broken Blade has something else cooked.
It does point towards that direction, and they were more worried about the Vayne
And he
as
goes
we were talking
crazy.
about, so let's see what they're going to follow it up with. Some engage. They definitely do want
Saint, do you
some
want
sort of
LeBlanc?
playmaking here from Saint.
LeBlanc.
He definitely performs very well on champions with mobility, with dashes. Arya is one of his favorites, but he's also quite good on the control mages. And Victor versus Cassio, you have the laser range. You just want to farm it out and scale up to be a big powerhouse in the team fights.
And we have some flexibility
Yes.
here from the Lion team
Oh,
comp
okay.
overall. Varus,
There it is.
I think they
pretty
get
powerful in the
sweep,
game, Victor
man.
that power, but still a
Which
lot
is
of
fucking
playmaking.
so
Now,
sad,
the
bro.
Yasuo, if it is locked in, a strong lane matchup, and we've seen BB did dominate Doran, but of all
Does
the potential
America's
counterpicks,
place top
Yasuo
3
is a-
at an
is a very
international?
sharp
That would
champion
be
because something's
insane,
really
man.
well and something's really poorly. So if anything goes wrong in this top side, you're stuck with a Yasuo on the top lane. which
Huma
is not
or
a good
Inspired
vibe. It's
King,
not a
click
good
on Lee
feeling.
Sin.
He
We're
has
about to see it.
Dominate. High risk.
Bring us to the
That's never
promised
stopped
land.
G2 in the past. Hansama mages, Broken Blade Yasuo, but they're ready to throw down.
Oh, I didn't
mean,
press
the most
X, my
comfortable
bad.
picks I see in this comp for G2 is the Skumon Pantheon and Lebrov Nautilus. They have very strong mid jungle. They have a lot of playmaking from their support jungle, and I think that's how they're going to try and play this game.
And they do have some good knockups for Broken Blade from the bottom lane. Not just the Nautilus, but also the Satchel Charge. Deceptively good opportunities for them to set up Broken Blade later into the game too. And this counter pick is a good counter pick for a reason. You get to run down the minion line basically onto the mini Gnar and try and force those plays. And you have a Pantheon jungle, Dracos. He level 6, he can ult in there. They can make that gank guaranteed happen. So Dokla has to play very safe on that Gnar. luckily for Dokla, he's coming up a series. He had a huge Mega Gnar game, and we'll see if he can.
Inspired just played those Drakes yesterday. Yesterday. Last game so well. I got work in 12 hours, bro. I just woke up. We're cooked.
And he did.
We're cooked beyond belief.
Crucially, now we head into game 2, see if he can weather the storm once again. Of course, Renekton wasn't a counter pick, or it was kind of the counter pick, but it was just supposed to survive. This time around, it's more of the hard counter, the Yasuo that comes out against the Gnar. But if Dokka can survive once more, doing something that Doran could not, it's an impressive feat and gives a ton of confidence for Lion in this series.
Yeah, you always honor your top laners that are going into an annoying range matchup. He didn't go that far down, and then he still had big impact in those team fights at those Dragons, getting into the mix of it. So let's see, can G2 bounce back here? They have been rewarded previously here with the counter picks from Broken Blade, and Skumond on his Pantheon could be huge.
Another quick point I have on Dokla is he's almost the opposite archetype of player that usually get prioritized. Like so many players nowadays are just these like incredible laners who then struggle to side lane and team fight effectively. But Dokla, to his own admission, is a very average laner in most situations, but he knows how to win the game. He plays side lanes well, he recovers in game well, and he team fights great. So I think that's why Lion is okay saying, okay, we're gonna blind pick you the Gnar. We know the Yasuo is coming. Even if you fall behind, we trust you.
Yeah, and so you see there, Inspired is splitting the map because of the counter pick. So this is their choice to deal with the Yasuo counter pick. BB has information though. You saw that the ward from G2 was placed after the Lion ward, so they saw it. Plus they know that the ward, the other ward is there, and Broken Blade off that push, he is kind of hovering back. He kind of knows this is happening.
He's a nervous man. And look, we saw the head-to-head between Inspired and Caps, a ton of history domestically, a lot of best of ones, but in the best of fives, Inspired has the edge courtesy of that 3-0 that we saw at MSI last year.
Zig's not on this lane. It's maybe the weirdest lane I've ever seen.
It's common for Berserker, so we know we will be seeing a bit more poke. Skumon on the way in. Aegis assault for movement speed. Looking to lock up Berserker. Berserker no cleanse. Importantly, Isles trying to stop anything else from going down, but a flash isn't even going to save him. First blood for G2 Esports.
Beautiful gank for G2 for Skumon with perfect information. They knew Inspired was up on the top side, counter jungling, so they had, wait a second,
Re-engage on Isles. TP back in, they're hoping to get a bit more.
That's a slow TP.
Empowered Spear is going to be there. That's a very slow TP, but now Inspired's hoping to find the double. Berserker on the way, and they'll at least get one flash out from Skumon.
Yeah, Inspired kills her
Minefield
though.
to slow them down. If Skumon gets out, it's still a good trade, but if he doesn't, they're in trouble. Hansama body blocking the Q, going in. Skumon getting lower. The Aegis assault up in the nick of time, just barely makes it out.
That's so huge for G2 right there. Hansama still has his TP as well. Almost a disaster for Lion there as they attempt to extend the play, because the beginning of that play was pretty poor. They know they're getting map split on, and they take very aggressive 2v2 trades without combat summoner spells. So a good start for that G2 bot lane and Skumon.
Hansama sent bot lane to catch the wave. Now it's Labrov wandering into mid, but Inspired is here first. 3v2 in the favor of Lion. Does have the flash, wants to hook to the wall to escape, but Lion are just going to respect it. Good read from Isles to be exactly where Labrov was, setting up Saint now to push out this wave, and an excellent sidestep on the hook.
Yeah, so nice. Okay, so Skumon has a lot of options now, especially with Labrov still mid. I mean, it's only Isles giving Saint the confidence here to stay into mid.
Inspired waiting over the wall, starting to walk towards red, immediately turns his attention elsewhere, trying to cover his mid laner. Saint getting lower and lower. Caps has to be careful. Nice back step. Not sure if he spotted Inspired, but manages to hold on. Forces the flash out from Isles to escape. G2 getting the better of Lion in that brief exchange.
Yeah, Inspired was finishing up the Raptors there, so he's in the area to save the play as well. And they get the flashes out though, so both supports with no flashes now, definitely very vulnerable, but we have to look at Skumon and how he continues this game, because I do like that call. Go for the first blood on bottom side, really get them snowballing, and it was just after Labrov and Hansama had gotten a great trade. They landed the hook combination into Satchel Charge combo, into Explosive Bomb there from Hans, and that is definitely what they want to see.
And really accelerating the pace of this game. I mean, at the time of that mid gank, Skumon was at 12 CS, but he'd clearly impacted the map. He'd helped win the bot lane and didn't quite get Saint's flash, but still managed to draw them a lot of pressure there.
G2 doing what they can. Of course, both supports leaving so much means a lot of solo XP for Berserker and Hansama. One of the nice things about the lethality Varus is he uses level ups and skill points almost as well as mages do. So normally we'd see a big discrepancy. Level 3 and Q for Hansama is a big damage spike. It's not a big damage spike for a lot of AD carries, but it is for the Varus, which helps keep this push battle pretty close.
Yeah, as we see it directly in the middle of the lane, and both supports hovering on their brush because they know the junglers could have a huge influence, but they've got
Another
vision.
slow one. Inspired is here, but it's a tough start.
Q3 ready to go. He's in the Mega still, though. Inspired on the way up. Skewmon, though,
What
such a
the
low health
fudge was that
bar. And
damage?
this means Lion are taking the fight. Level 6 for Broken Blade. Hoping to get something back. Stacking the Q3 up. Needs to lock up Dokla. He flashed backwards. Broken Blade is nasty with it. Are you kidding me?
But Dokla still
though,
kills.
wants to turn it back. Has the advantage. Broken Blade running for his life. He just can't dance around those autos. And it's Dokla who strikes back.
The teleport was a bait. Dokla had just a bit of rage left on that Mega Gnar that landed the CC to set up Inspired.
That is one hell of a wallop on the arrival of the teleport. Just the remnants of the Mega Gnar coming in, and that surprised them a bit. Plus the timing of Inspired was right there at the arrival. So Dokla goes back as he's about to transform into Mega, and then look at the bar as it's ticking down, coming back from the fountain. He still barely has the Mega.
And look at the vision as well. Like now Inspired's in vision as they're already stunned, so they're completely committed to the play. They managed to shut him down early, but credit to Broken Blade for turning this back into a 1-for-1.
Yeah, clean from Broken Blade. Gets the combination onto Inspired. He went for the level 6, focus on the minions, gets it, gets the... Wait
oh,
a
we're
second.
not done. Another keep
Oh, he's dead.
there, though. Dokla didn't use ult in the previous fight. Broken Blade's getting dunked on. Once again, he has been broken.
Big Dokes with the Gnar, building on the Gnar game that he
So much
had
for that counter
a
pick,
couple
huh?
of games ago. He was already down. Broken Blade had the kill from the last fight. Now 2-0-1. No TP on the Yasuo. He's going to be able to shove that in. He's going to lose a whole nother wave and try and snowball this Gnar game.
And for the second game in a row, it's the counter pick. It's supposed to be the strong lane for Broken Blade. Initially, it looked all right, but it is so quickly falling apart. Look at that XP chart. Pulling further and further ahead, almost a full level over Broken Blade in that top lane 1v1.
It is a bloodbath. North America versus Europe here, and they are throwing hands. Both junglers getting very active, and now you have Skewmon level 6. Where is this Pantheon ult gonna go? Everybody still has flashes basically on Lion, save for their support, of course, and mid lane is the battlefield.
Hold that thought. I'm watching the replay. There's two fights happening at the same time. We can see the 1v1, but LeBron...
That's the Pantheon ult.
Wants to make this happen. Nice flashback coming from Hussein. Excellent mechanics from Inspired. Gets LeBron low. Isles also on the way in, and now it's G2 on the retreat. TP coming in. Dokla on the side. All 5 of Lion have arrived to the play.
Yeah, bala, am I right?
To run back to their own jungle. Nowhere left to go. It's the Varus out of nowhere with the steel chair.
Yeah, even Berserker teleports mid and uses the flash with the ulti to help secure the extra kill. Lion snowballing.
Everyone on Lion assembles in mid lane to make that happen. 1.3k is the advantage now. All Broken Blade can get back is a single plate as Inspired turns.
I didn't move my camera, but
Everything going in the favor of Lion. Broken Blade has to be careful about stepping forward, uncertain about how many members are still lurking on the top side of the map. Isles starting and stopping that recall. We look back at this play. G2 overcommitting. We're not ready for the response.
Nice Pantheon all there.
Victor ult into the Inspired kick just chunks them and buys enough time for the rest of Lion to arrive.
Yeah, I was looking for a good angle for the Caps ulti, but Inspired did the early kick, and so Caps never really got a good, angle for his ult early on, and then at this point, it's just way too late because they've already chased him down. And so with the Pantheon ultimate being used that we were looking for, it is again going the way of Lion with the early pressure. Dragon, though, for G2, they're going to be able to claim it this time around.
Should be theirs as Inspired.
I'm playing a lot of Cyberpunk, man. All yesterday.
So
Go
good job by
basically.
G2 to still read the tempo of the game and know what they can take.
But it's Lion building that gold advantage, something we've seen them do before. Willing to sacrifice Drakes, willing to sacrifice a lot of objectives just to get the gold in their favor. Often amounts in a lot of these stronger team fights, and you can see G2 have the idea of how they want to play their composition, but can't get all those cooldowns synced. And if one of them goes awry, they don't really have the damage to burst out that member. The extended plays still very heavily favoring Lion, especially until Caps gets that first item completed. The Cassio damage just really not there.
Yeah, everyone on Lion, though, does need to make sure to stay calm and play on the right timers. Just because a few fights went their way, it can just snap back, especially now that Dokla has this 250 gold bounty. If he gets a little bit crazy, he can get shut down right away when he's in Mininar. And you can even see that Lebrov is right up there looking for a fight.
Dokla about to go Mega. Isles in the area, though. Inspired is also on the way. It's the disaster
Solar flare.
for G2.
That's
Everybody
6.
from Lion
It's
is
so
once
over.
again right where they need to be.
Team play for Lion and Mega Gnar, Dracos. Mega Gnar again. G2 decide to engage.
Dog
Lion
shit.
following the play.
Quick stun. Inspired and Skumon took the same angle on the blast cone. Skumon's still going to throw a spear on the way out, but it is a 2.5k gold lead. Game one felt bloodless until the late game. There was not a lot of action, but Lion have upped the pace of this game and are looking even more dominant.
Absolutely. I feel like G2 are the first ones to go for that early gank, and then since then, Lion has just been matching the pace that G2 had early. Inspired now trying to get some of that experience back while pushing Skumon out of the jungle to steal his red. And the Lion map play has just been exceptional with the way they've been moving around.
G2. I will say, I do like Ziggs scaling more than Lethality Varus.
Yeah.
Now, after Lethality Varus has been nerfed so many times, we'll see if Hansama, now getting his Blackfire Torch, on his first item here, can this Ziggs damage make one of those long follow-up plays?
Yeah, and Coinbase Gold Grind, you can see 700 more gold just from kills for Dokla with that 303 score already. 900 gold lead overall.
And sometimes comfort just better than counter picks. Again,
yes, sir.
G2 hopefully still have their head in this game. If not, they'll be thinking about that first play that went awry, the moment that counter pick fell apart. They're still trying to get active on the map, but as they fall further and further behind in gold, the angles, the options get more and more limited.
And their angles are looking towards mid right now. Everybody from G2 was hovering. Triple control wards from them, and Saint smells it so much. He's all the way back to his secondary tower until Isles gets here to help defend him on the timer there. Lion remaining controlled. I think Inspired's timing has been quite good this game as well. Him going to follow up on these plays. Talk about timing as well, like every second counting on that top side play when Mega Gnar from Dokla had just barely, the last second of it expiring, just as Inspired also gets there for that teleport return play. These small timings have really made big differences.
I mean, there's so much trust involved in that play, right? That Dokla is very confident he'll go in on Mega because Inspired is spending all that time, and we know how much he cares about efficiency. I thought it was really interesting. We heard Inspired say that he really trusts his laners at this international event. He said last year on FlyQuest there were times, especially as the team was kind of falling apart at Worlds, that every lane was on fire and he felt like he had to flip the game. But here, he feels like he can just make the right play, and we're seeing that calm play and that trust prove itself so far in this G2 series.
That trust really paying off, because remember, it was difficult for these laners at a lot of the earlier stages of this tournament, a lot of those early best of fives, but now they're sitting pretty incredibly comfortable in this game too.
True level
Sonic Wave
advantage.
gonna contest. Q3 ready to go for Broken Blade, not gonna get the angle! He's dizzy, he can do nothing! Big Dokes dunks him down once again!
That's
over.
Beautiful. That was perfect. Dokla and Inspired. Who cares about the wind wall? Another one for Dokes.
Nice juke there from Inspired going in, and Broken Blade down on this pick that has been focused so heavily. Another counter pick foiled.
He's too big, guys. Please, take it, please. Make him smaller. The Dokes is too big. Please have mercy.
It's because Broken Blade gained so much size from the T1 series that Dokla is just able to, it's an infinitely stacking buff, right?
Yes. They're just going back and like Heartsteel, Mundo, Tank Engine, whatever. They both just keep getting larger. But unfortunately, Dokla very far ahead, looking like the much bigger Dokes on this particular one. As G2 still setting up for these picks, looking for these angles. You guys highlighted it well in draft. You have the Pantheon. You have Lebrav on the Nautilus. There is a world where you can find these quick picks, but it's really a credit to Lion that they haven't given any of those angles to G2.
Yeah, and I think if we think about the way this game will scale, Saint is actually a very important player in this game because it's very heavy physical damage for Lion. So if we just forecast it out to late game, having strong AP damage will be very important in how G2 will able to kill him. But also, like, Lion with this 3,000 gold lead, I don't love that they're just giving over the second Drake. They clearly have a lot of confidence in their ability to play with the gold lead, but G2, you should take those 2 Drakes for sure.
Happy to fight for it. I imagine the third Drake is we'll see a little bit more of a contest.
Yep.
And to your point earlier, with Mountain Soul potentially on the board, even if G2 don't have a true tank, it will still be really valuable against that single AP threat, just to up those baseline resistances. Caps playing with a lot of respect here. There's no semi-globals on the side of Lion, but they've been so diligent in finding these moments, these opportunities, that he's still just going to back away on the top side.
Yeah, I think it's just a hover play because they don't have eyes on the Pantheon, so they don't know if that's going to come in. So ensure that this Victor that you said is going to be so critical, and I 100% agree, is going to be able to safely take the side.
But I also really love what they did there, giving the gold to Saints Victor. Like, Dokla was far enough ahead, he could have taken the first turn and continued to snowball. But they know, like, okay, the Victor is going to use the gold better than the Gnar, so if they have the choice, let's give it to Saint, and they did so.
Really comfortable position for Lion. Again, the third Drake, really the only thing that feels like they have to contest. Everything else, they can take their time. They're in such a comfortable spot. The plays that they've made on their own have been good. The plays that they have punished from G2 when they've been over-eager have also turned in their favor. So with a 4K gold advantage, with the Herald falling uncontested, Lion set up to dominate in this mid-game. It's on G2 to look for those little angles, those tiny moments where they can pick off a key member on the side of Lion. Dokla, Inspired, Saint, all rocking those bounties on their heads. Potential targets for G2 to try and take down.
Yeah, and I think they really should try and focus on a way to inhibit the income from Saint. Like, especially if they can take him down, take away his flash or something, make it harder for him to farm. The Victor scaling definitely is paramount.
Yeah, they're also not even pushing that aggressively yet. Lion really just trying to play on the right timers. Dokla knows he can kind of zone Broken Blade off. And even in the LCS, Lion would freeze more waves than kind of any other team. There'd be a lot of games where they would just intentionally slow the pace of the game down, even if they had a gold advantage. So, like you said earlier, Dracos, I really expect them to fight that third Drake, but they don't need to continue to make crazy plays because they're confident in their ability to win team fights.
No, and happy to potentially expose G2 to risk by forcing them to come up and respond to these waves. You see Isles already on the way down. If they can chip away at a few of those key cooldowns from G2, leverage some of the advantage they have to take a bit more space as they're doing now. Zenith Blade ready to go. Q flash forward. Inspired looking for a bit of setup. Broken Blade has to flash over the wall. LeBron not able to do anything. It's the R flash from Inspired. Again, the mechanics are too damn clean.
I guess they can also just do that.
Yes.
So they're confident in that play. Inspired. I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar with your Lee Sin game. He is playing.
Where's the
so
apology
insane.
for him, chat?
Print it out, I'll sign it, I'll give him my social security number, credit card number, take what you want. I'll accept the fine. Inspired, you're popping off.
Completely dominant, that top side. Top jungle, not often the story of Lion. We've talked so much about Berserker and Inspired. It was Saint in the previous game. Dokla, credit for weathering the storm.
Oh my
really, it
gosh,
is the Inspired
Dokla's so
Dokla
fed.
showdown here in game 2 for a big performance to take us to match point. And so often, we look back at these matchups, Broken Blade on the way and looking to stack the Q3. Skewmon ready to get it kicked off, but they present a response TP. They get Dokla's flash, and I think that's the most they can hope for. G2 just going to back away.
Yeah, they really wanted that big bounty. That's 525 gold. So Dokla just flashed away, made sure that wasn't a disaster. Now they're trying to repush.
I don't think you can hold this turret either. So G2, TP in. Lion commit their resources in response, and now the tier 1 falls. Sonic Wave not going to turn into a resonating strike.
6K.
Mind and body saying no on that one.
I will say, at the very least, as we have another engage.
Oh my gosh.
Immediate ulti, they get the flash out of Hans too. Everything is going in the favor of Lion. I just don't know if G2 are going to be able to contest with all these summoners and ultis just getting chipped away at.
Both teams had the same idea. With the Dragon, you know, was about a minute and 20 seconds away at the time. G2 say, hey, we're going to go for the flash off of Dokla. We need to get this flash away from Mega Gnar so he doesn't destroy us in the fight. They do that, but then Isles also finding the flash here now off of Hansama. And the approach for Lion to this Drake is already lit up with that vision.
And it's so important for G2 to be mentally strong in this situation. This has to be so frustrating. All the early plays you tried to make did not work out. Your counter pick is not working out. And we've seen so many NA versus EU 3-0s. G2 do not want to add their name to that list any further. It happened once with FlyQuest, and the momentum in favor of Lion right now seems just a little unstoppable.
Kobe, would there be a reason that Lebrov is just sitting on an unupgraded support World Atlas? Because he's had it for a while. There's not some tech. So this happened, like sometimes when you're really locked into something or maybe you're a little tilted, you'll forget to do something like this. But okay, he finally upgraded it. He sat on it for about a minute, which was just a little peculiar to me, but it's completed now, no worries.
All right, he is gonna have that Blood Song, is gonna add that little bit of extra burst damage, and maybe that does make the difference, because Dracos, we've been looking from the very beginning with this comp, are they gonna get one of these bursty plays? And they are congregating around the top side of the map, so they're thinking that Lion is taking Dragon, but Lion are actually up here kind of answering it. Saint does not have teleports though, and he is showing bottom lane.
G2 ready to potentially commit more members to the play, but Dokla not stepping up, not taking any trades, even if he's ahead of Caps in terms of gold, doesn't want to take the risk, and now Lion instead turning towards the mid lane.
Yeah, Lion just trying to make sure that their efficiency stays high. Don't want to give an easy cross-map play to G2, so Saint ends up pushing that wave out, basing once again, and now they will look to take this gold from this one.
Inspired already starting it. Baron has spawned as well. Lion with a 6K gold lead, taking their sweet time. This is the Lion comfort zone. No pressure on them to do anything on the map. Looking for little advantages, chipping away slowly at G2 in this game, continuing to extend that gold lead, and now denying soul point from G2 as Hans does what he can to use that ulti and just clear out some of these waves, stop some of the pressure coming out of this Lion lineup.
Yeah, even invading the jungle.
Inspired is a
now
full
trying to
level up.
take over the safe pathways of
Dokla
rotation
is
between objectives.
2 full
Dragon
levels
taken
up.
away, and mid lane looks like it's going to be the next target here. It's already so low that it's a pretty much one shot, and that's the last of your outer defenses now down for G2. Good smite.
Oh, good smite. Try and turn
Locked
it.
up.
It's huge.
Back under the tower.
It's huge.
Lockup is there. Double knockup coming in from LeBron's ulti. Zenith Blade is there. The Solar Flare does a bit of work,
One
but
for
now
one.
Stoku's locked up, about to turn mini. Caps on the chase. G2 know this is their window to try to force a greater advantage. Broken Blade on the side, but there's no one there to alley-oop him. No one there to set up the knockup, so they're forced to back away. Happy to have that shutdown.
Really smart smite there by Skumon, trapping the Lee Sin under the turret, does not let
That's just a
Inspired even
default
flash
play,
away.
bro. That's what
They'll
you
get
always
that
do.
bounty. Yaz traded one for him. That's way more gold in the favor of G2.
And they were looking to make more out of it, you know, rotating Broken Blade over, trying to get the chase down. But they will be happy at the very
Guys,
end to
we
get the
just
shutdown.
saw
There
this.
it is, going in. The Herald only has 756 health, so Skumon one-shots the Herald, and then they go in with the CC chain to take down Inspired and get the shutdown onto that Ziggs, which does scale well.
And continues to be able to clear waves. It's always difficult to end the games into a Zig. So even if we may not be super confident in Hansama's mage play, he can definitely make this game last a while.
Bot lane Ziggs. The other thing about Mage's bottom lane, you get more gold and you get an extra item space, and that death cap being so close does spell a comeback avenue.
And that multiplier on the AP means that extra item means even more than it might for an AD carry, i.e. the equivalent multiplier, but you get capped with a 100% crit, right? So need to see if Hansama can get there. It's a tall task, but hey, if you have to stall a game, you highlighted it well, Jet. A control mage is pretty much the best way to do it.
They'll still have the pick potential from the Pantheon, Yasuo, and Nautilus, but Lion is still going to be pretty comfortable with their position in the game. We just gotta see if they're able to close it. The early Drakes that G2 was able to secure just make sure that the game can go quite late game. They have the wave clear, and then they're also greatly delaying the potential soul from Lion. So Lion's going to have to play very well to close this one out.
Yeah, and I think their biggest tool is going to be these side lanes, with Dokla having this nice advantage over Broken Blade, of course, with all the focus that Inspired and the rest of Lion have taken towards this Yasuo counter pick and keeping Broken Blade down does make those side lanes for G2 a lot more difficult to play.
Dokla. Nice play there on the wall up. Yeah. Wall up pop there. Now you're at least going to get some plates. Wave immediately going to get deleted. That's Solar Flare. Skumon waiting for a bit more time. Hasn't been able to pop the Aegis Assault. Can block some of the fall-off damage now. The wind wall there as well.
So this is all during the split push for Caps. Caps is getting gold for G2 on the other side of the map. They're playing 3 lanes at this time, while Lion only playing the 2.
Rob fishing, maybe hoping to catch someone on a sloppy recall. Again, Lion very much grouped up. You highlighted it well. Mid lane the main focus, moving up now towards Caps, or at least maybe just trying to control Baron vision. With a Cassio on the enemy team, a rapid Baron always has to be taken into account.
And I really like the way G2 has been able to stall this game out. And, you know, even if the gold has stayed at 4,000, the percentage of the gold difference decreases as every CS is acquired by G2, so they're not that far behind in items when we do see a fight. I mean, looking at Caps' completed Seraphs, the upgraded Mercury Treads, he's going to be able to pump out a good amount of sustained damage if G2 decide to find a fight.
And again, the Ziggs with the multiplier here, with the death cap done, you take that any day over these nerfed Varus damage here that you do have as a comparison. Even with the spell shield here picked up for Berserker. You can also say, if you find really good value out of the CC of the Varus ultimate, sometimes that can really change team fights there too. So, it's not a one-to-one as far as just comparing the damages, but we'll see at the approach to the next fight if they're able to get some poke damage done as well.
Yeah. Of course, max rank, you know, base damage, still okay on that Varus Q, but as we get later, it is the bonus AD scaling that was hit. Full charge used to be 150% of that bonus AD, now it's only 120. And those numbers start to add up in an extended fight. So often lethality Varus is kind of determined but if he can hit those abilities or not. Pantheon coming down under Berserker, immediate Ghost Blade to take him away. Saint now following. They're looking for a disengage, but Isles is recommitted to the fight. The Miasma there to stop him getting out. Broken Blade up on the side, trying to make the difference. Wind Wall to stop any potential follow-up. Now able to retreat as well. An excellent pick for G2. Down goes Isles, but Broken Blade injured.
And that's with the Drake up right now, so I feel like Lion is potentially going to have to concede this. Saint and Berserker could teleport back in now that Inspired is here, and Dokla about to hit Meganar.
Dokla about to hit Mega. Hooked in, wall up there. He's trying to make his way out. They're trying to burn him down so he can't get the ulti. Dokla being low, the Mega gonna fade away. Lion, it looks like gonna back off of this one, willing to concede Soul Point. They don't want to risk the fight.
G2, huge fast play for them. They get the pick, they see them
I
in
don't
the
think we have
river,
enough
they
time.
do not hesitate, and they get themselves to Dragon Soul Point. That Mountain Soul Dracos is ever so close.
This is just so well done by G2, using the Pantheon ultimate to create the numbers advantage. And after Saint flashes away, that means Isles is trapped in here. Does decide to go back in, potentially should have flashed away, because this is a numbers advantage the entire time for G2.
Exactly, it's all because Inspired was up on the top side of the map for the Lee Sin there, so he was never there. And G2, they choose their moment. They're teleport in at the same time as
What
the
the fudge
Pantheon
is he
ultimate.
hitting?
They go for the lockup and calmly get themselves to their win con here. Mountain Soul on the table, getting tense.
That should give G2 a lot of confidence with Soul Point and just the way that extended fight went. They got the flash out of Dokla, they got the flash out of Saint, they got the flash out of Isles. So now if they land another hook, or if Skumon uses his next ultimate timer, maybe they can get that one shot on an important player. And as we said before, the item gap is kind of non-existent in this game.
Yeah, and I think their dream is to one-shot Saint. The victor here with no flash had to flash out of the river in the previous one. And with a lot of the flash advantages to the side of G2, they have a lot of playmaking, but there's still a decent amount of time till that dragon. So there is time to work with to try and make side lane picks and try and use a Pantheon ultimate and see if you can fish around for a little bit more before the full commit.
Very playable situation now for G2 Esports. Again, respect still has to be paid to Inspired and Dokla. Dokla finishing up that third item, a GA for Inspired. The previous play, you highlighted it well, right? The reason it works out is Dokla doesn't get to have that Dream Gnar moment where you're knocking 4 people into the wall, and that's what can happen if G2 get to start a fight on their terms. But again, with a lot of these side lane threats, with how powerful Dokla is now, it's difficult for G2 to find those angles without use of that Pantheon ultimate.
Yeah, it's very scary as far as the pick potential. And when you position your Ziggs in mid lane here for Hansama, he's level 16 now, and that ultimate is all that you need to add on top of any of the CC from the Nautilus, from the Pantheon. So you can see Lion are grouping together, trying to move cautiously around that mid lane. They know the potential with all that vision control set up for G2. It is very dangerous.
I mean, Lion has to overload the mid lane just to make something happen to be able to move.
All right, he
right
took
now.
nothing.
So they even lost vision on the Baron area. This game is feeling more and more like an even game, just by the way the map is moving and kind of ignoring what we see on the goal.
Okay, bro. Yeah, let's just ignore the gold. At 10K, let's just ignore the gold lead, I guess.
This potential soul for G2 will spawn. The tension continues to grow as neither team feels like they're in a good spot to force the Baron, but now Pantheon heading bot lane. Dokla running for his life. Inspired just reset. A tiny window now for G2 as the Mega Inferno Bomb is laid down on top. Dokla running for his life. Miasma there, now wants to turn it with the Mega Gnar. Hits the wall up onto 1, hoping to find the Gnar, but only connects onto 2. And down goes Dokla. The shutdown for Caps.
The side lane pick that they were looking for. The Pantheon ult comes in, and Dokla.
There's still no time,
flash.
bro.
There's no way he can get out of this
Like,
one.
it's an essence of time in this
Caps
game.
uses his advantage to make sure of it. He flashes forward to make sure they can Miasma, and they get the kill ahead of time. Saint has gone to
picking
split
it
push
up.
during that time, though. They tried to get something cross-map. He gets the minion wave at the very least up to the top tower.
G2, though, going to take control of this Baron area. Dokla's still dead for another 30 seconds, and Cassiopeia kills Baron so fast.
G2 hiding in the darkness. You can see Lion don't have the best vision set up. You highlighted it well. The Cassio tearing through the Baron, but Inspired. Can he take the 50-50? Will G2 take the risk? More importantly, Berserker, ulti connecting onto Labrov. The follow-up, not quite going to connect on Hansama. Labrov getting lower. Sonic Wave connecting. Resonating struck in the wave.
Oh my
The flash.
gosh,
They spotted
they
Saint.
threw.
The instantaneous Zanya's the Seeker, keeping him standing. Hansama's blinking health bar being sold
Look
away
at that
now.
Victor ult.
Inspired looking for the follow. Ready to ward hop over the wall.
Oh my gosh, Inspired. That's over.
Quite able to finish it. A disaster of a satchel charge. Turns it
How does he have
into
GA at
Lion.
this point?
Skewmon and Caps, the last
Is
one
that
left
end mid
standing.
and
But
top?
this fight, it's all Lion. The triple for Saint.
Saint and Inspired come up clutch. The victor gets the early kills, teleports in behind him, but it is Inspired with his fearlessness chasing them down.
I think that is just so well communicated from Lion. They call for the Varus ult into the Leona ult to buy time for Saint to get there. They CC chain the Nautilus
end,
and
20
delay
seconds.
until Saint can get there over the wall, the Victor ultimate,
They have a
and he was
wave.
ready with his Zonias.
Lion looking to finish it here. Don't
Yeah,
want to
it's
give any
over.
more time to G2 Esports. G2 might have taken down the back-to-back world champions, but they're on the cusp of losing back-to-back games against the best
That's
in
it.
the LCS.
We've already seen on a reverse sweep here from G2.
They have
They'll
no time. It's a
to do
3-0.
it again. Azael, when you're up though, right?
When you're right, you're right. You know, last year
It's
I called
time
the
to start
3-0.
talking.
This year I called
It's time
the
to start
3-0.
talking, baby.
What can you say at a certain point, you know?
You should rip me apart for being a non-believer.
One
I did
should
not
Doubters,
believe.
where are you now?
In the ground. 6 feet under.
6 feet
Make it
under.
12 because it's been doubly bad.
Fan right now, if we can check it out.
Oh, no.
Jokes aside,
What the
G2,
fuck
you
is he
need
doing?
to reset. This is how they're doing it backstage, but Dagda, give us some hopes. Once again, if there's any G2 reverse.
Bro, look at the time on this shit. There's no hope.
G2 might have taken down the back-to-back world champion in an EU versus NA.
Bro, this is
best of 5.
prime
We got
G2,
close.
bro.
It was
Get shizzed
TL
on,
versus
but like
Fnatic,
beat
although
the best
series
team in the
was
world.
horrendously not close. That was 4 games at the
Or
very
like a
least. There's
top
lot
3
of
team, I guess.
3-0s.
But 4 is close to 5.
4 is close to 5. Adjacent numbers, which we'll take as coming into this game. G2
Oh, my bad.
choosing blue side, Lion choosing second pick.
Jungler's up as
for the top
Nefiri,
side, and every counter pick that
Trundle.
G2 have been able to grab really has not worked out for them.
That's who I know
And
of,
G2 has
right?
varied their bands a little bit throughout
Mid
the series. They've
laners,
been Jace
Ori
in
was
every
picked,
game and Nocturne in every
Cassia
game
was
and crucially
picked,
have left it open this time. They were giving respect to
Ryze,
Doku's Jace, but this is actually the pick
Akali.
that I've identified, Dracos, between games of I think G2
Top
should
laner's
let Doku play
Jace,
it because they might be able to neutralize it. I think that's the
Sion,
gambit they're taking here.
And
Cassante.
G2, they have given up on this counter pick thing. You know,
Bard
Lion
is still
gonna
in.
have the counter pick this time around, so
Bard.
we'll see what Dokla does because Dokla has done such a good job
Enchanters,
without it in the
Engagers.
top lane thus far.
That's
and
Poppy,
now
yeah.
G2 are going to have the first pick
Ah.
instead.
They take
Terrific
Jace.
Jace.
Oh, BB Jace or Caps
Please
Jace
Sion
or
into
Skewmon
it.
Jace. I don't see a Jace this.
You didn't select like Sion, Trundle here? No,
One
sorry.
of the biggest
Jace.
criticisms
I thought it was
levied
flipped.
against G2 in meta's past has been that Broken Blade does not play Rumble and that he does not play Jace. And while he has littered some games in there to kind of contest that narrative, it is not considered one of his strong
Is it
picks, his
Cassante?
signature picks,
Oh,
or
Ryze is
even one of
upgraded
his
though.
good picks. So to bet it on a potential top lane Drace is a hugely ballsy move
Ryze,
for
which
G2.
jungler do you
Remember,
want in
after the disaster versus HLE, they bet on BB against T1, and
You go
it
Ryze
absolutely
Bard.
paid off. They might be doing the same here.
And my favorite iteration of G2, the most
That looks like
successful
Barry.
iteration was when they were flexing
Bard.
Pike in all 5 roles, and even the coach will play it. And so we'll see as they keep it very
You bot lane
flexible,
to match
early
Bard.
on, but still,
Yeah,
the
match
game
a
input on
room.
Jace is quite big. Ryze here.
Like a
is
Mel
looking
Pike.
Very good with the current champion out
My
of
ass
Fearless.
is itchy.
And they also
You
are
can't
gonna
go Mel
get
Pike, I was
extra
joking.
side lane pressure with a Bard.
Yunara
So
Lulu, I
it's kind
think
a
of,
classic combo,
Asterisk
having the
out,
Ryze and the Bard
Ezreal
really early
out.
on does make your mid game. You have a lot of
Alright,
leeway
match
inside
jungler.
lanes.
Or you pick
I'm
jungle.
just.
Annie.
Oh, it's not a jungle Jace.
I'm still surprised.
Or K.
And it's not a mid lane Jace. That's broken blade Jace guaranteed.
So if this wasn't MSI, where
I
teams
always
look at
forget
Sion's
Wukong's
win rate
up.
and see that it's 0-9, Dokla would lock Sion right here because it's double AD top jungle, and he would just play to
Oh, yeah,
neutralize
K
it, but
Bard.
They might just drop him to 4-5.
My
to
mind
secure the
always
bot
on
lane, which,
jungle.
as
I'm always
again,
thinking
we were
about
discussing,
jungle.
Dracos, the bot lane for Lion has kind of taken Hansama and LeBron out of this series, and LeBron has been such a big playmaker.
Ban
when G2's at
supports,
their
I
best,
guess.
it's because
Or
Hans and
shiz
LeBron
that
were,
can
like,
match
pushing the
Caitlyn like
tempo 2-1-2,
MF.
getting things to happen, and they haven't been able to do it this
Ashe
series.
is
So
out.
again, high priority by Lion on their bot 2v2.
I do want to point out, Caps has a pentakill already at this tournament on this champion, Dracos.
Who matches Caitlyn?
You're giving me a lot of the silver linings. There might even be some gold
Yunara?
linings on this particular cloud, and Caps on the Syndra is one of them.
Well,
now, with the
Yunara doesn't
Caitlyn locked in,
match,
I'm
but-
curious if Lion will even spend a ban on the Mel.
Lucian.
Right? Not something,
I always
again, that
forget
we
about
associate
Lucian.
Hansama with, but has been a very conventional
So
and very
MF here, maybe?
powerful
This comp
answer.
would work really well with
MF
Milwaukee.
isn't really like a ban
That's
though.
a good call out. They have exactly the top side
Probably
that you would
not.
want to have double AP mid boss.
Sante
The
ban.
problem is, we know these teams have
You need
scrims.
tank here,
And
so
if
probably
Hans didn't
Sion.
pick Mel in those scrims, I think Lion are willing to take the gamble that he's not about to pick it on stage.
I mean, the Lucian ban already blocks the Lucian Melio. Varus is already gone. He'd have like Jin left. I kind of like
Jin,
the Mel
thank
ban,
you.
just to be safe, just because compositionally.
But
like,
Jin
even
who?
if G2 is not their strengths, it's scary.
Like just
for
send a
Lion.
Jin Pike and say play on
Be
your own.
vulnerable to the Bard
Not
instead of
scared.
Sion.
They're not
They're
scared
not
at all.
scared.
They're not scared at all.
Not scared after the previous mage game they faced down. And they feel
Yunara, man.
it's
Okay.
more adequate to take
Thank you,
away
G2,
playmaking
because I
from
hate that.
Labrov, you know?
It's just a
That
trundle.
Rakan into the Bard option.
You gotta
so
pick jungle here.
is another good denial.
Really don't want to give Inspired the Kiana, a champion who can really pull off a lot of those early ganks, maybe contest at a time where Skewmon would still really prefer to farm until 6.
Who is
Debate now
up?
from Lion,
Nefiri
what do they wanna
Trundle.
lock in? Pretty comfortable with their bot lane 2v2. And the top side wide open for them. They know what they're playing against in that
I'm the
regard.
troll.
Trundle against the double immobile champions of the Syndra and the Jace. You can get a lot of value out of the pillar.
High pillar value. It's
All right.
It's an okay.
Yunara
pick.
Lulu I like.
Not incredible, but and they're just going.
Okay.
Like 3 in a row. What if I predict this? I think it's just Sion now. You
mages.
could go like a
He's trying to
weird
play in
ranged
Zitz now,
matchup
that's for sure.
because of Trundle tanking shoes. But Sion is very good value.
Point.
And pre-6, they have to be careful because post-6, Yunara has some play against the Trundle pillar, but pre-6 it can be really tricky if Inspired gets active early on. That said, Labrov looked fantastic on the slew the last time we saw it.
Yorick would be an angle if he wants to. Dokla has played Yorick in the past. The Olaf hovers.
No way he goes crazy.
It's just in. It's Olaf.
Olaf does so well.
I always forget about Yorick too. Well, I think Doran stained my memory of
The
it.
spinning Wukong gonna run
Well,
right
we know
at
Lion
him.
win this, so just
Dokla,
enjoy
they're
while you
putting all
can.
their faith in Big Dokes. He has had the advantage in the top lane matchup this series, and they're gonna say it will continue.
Laying
No
down the
Olaf this
gauntlet.
year for Dokla. One Olaf game in his 480 career games we have on record. So he's definitely pulling for this, but he will have definitely played it in solo queue, be comfortable with the pick, and it fits the comp. And what Lion has done this year with Dokla, in Split 1 playoffs for LCS Lock-In and in Split 2, they're very comfortable throwing him on any counter pick, and they trust him to execute.
And Inspired is on Trundle, a very strong duelist. Before Wukong gets to level 6, I want to see where Inspired goes, how he wants to put some pressure here, because jungle can really make the difference in these matchups.
How do their
You know,
headphones
picking the
work?
Olaf into the Jace, if your jungle is constantly invading,
They
marking
mobile?
this Wukong, chasing this Wukong away, then you can have a lot more pressure and threaten all ins
Your
yourself.
sign just said
Game
MSI.
1, a slow pace relatively. Game 2 was getting faster and faster, more in favor of Lion. Game 3 with this Trundle early on, potentially with this Olaf looking towards topside. Might get even faster. RG
We finished top 3, that's
play. We
insane,
talked about
bro.
the scaling of the Yunara is there. Syndra strong early, has good setup, but you got a Wukong who wants to farm. G2
I can't wait for
tough
next
time
split, bro. I'm
navigating
gonna watch
this
a lot
early
of
game. We load
LCS
into game
split
3.
next
Lion
split.
up 2-0. Looking for the clean sweep against
Now that
the
I know we
G2,
can finish
who
top
just
3, I
took
was like,
down
this shit,
T1.
why would I
If
ever
think
watch
about
this?
the way that G2
But we
could
get to
win
see
this
C9
game, it would be
choke, bro.
Caps getting mid
We get to
over
see
Saint with
Lion
range
make
advantage,
it, bro.
But more importantly, it's Hansama getting fed. If they can just
We get to
corner
see Dom
this
head
bot lane
coach,
through
man.
mid-prio jungle and permanent push, and Hansama gets strong enough, he could shred through the front line.
Caps and Saint trading. Immediate goes
You're gonna
down
have to
from Saint,
flash,
looking to extend
Caps.
his advantage. Nice ward placed. Giving information, and we'll just back away. Happy to potentially chip away at those pots, or maybe get even an early TP. Also spot Skewmon. So much information. in
Wow,
favor
he
of
doesn't
Lion.
flash or
Caps
TP.
gets
Okay,
this
this
for the
lane
minions,
is kind of
though.
hard
He
for
gets
him.
back for all 3 melees. So even though he gets chased around, the timing is okay for him. Meanwhile, bottom lane.
All in, all in. Hansama fully stacked on the Q.
Ouch.
Interrupt coming in for the Cosmic Binding on Isles. Really saves that exchange.
Extremely important stun and lethal tempo on both 80 carries, so these extended trades can be very, powerful.
Exactly. The level 1 of Yunara is where you really have to worry
No way,
about
Inspired, you're
when
actually
everybody's on
insane.
one ability and she can stack her Q. The chase down is terrifying. So Inspired, we were looking at what's he going to do with this early Trundle, and the answer is bot.
Level 1. Just now going to take over to level 2. They're going to notice it, but it might be too late. Q flash goes completely wide. LeBron still has access to the flash. They're trying to finish him out. First blood is there.
It's on the Bard,
It's
though.
okay, Isles. They still got the kill.
Yo, Isles
Even if
splashes
he
have been
Zoning
so
Q.
bad.
If he doesn't sidestep it, he's going to die anyway. Totally fine. It goes over to Isles.
I mean, that's the whole
unfortunately.
point.
Love to have that kill on a
Wukong
Berserker.
started Raptors,
Yeah,
so
what was it
Inspired
you
knows
said
he has a
just
timer
a
here.
minute ago? Was it that if G2 wanted to win this game, they had to get their
Hey,
bot lane
Inspired
ahead?
can't show on
Unfortunately, that is the
Raptors, though.
exact opposite of what has
Doesn't
happened.
matter.
Inspired a level 2 gank.
Bot lane
on
felt
this
too safe
Trundle,
with
recognizing that window,
Skew on there.
recognizing what G2 might want to play for and shutting it down.
And this is one of the reasons that Inspired has owned the region, whether he's on EG, FlyQuest, or Lion. He identifies the win condition of the game faster than anybody else, and he will change his game for that. In regular season, he's just the full clear guy, not really letting you know his plans, but when it matters, that's when he's going to pull off the 2-camp gank, right? That's not even a 3-camp gank. That's way faster than anyone expected. He's probably never done that gank all year, but he pulls it out in this moment because he knows that's what the game requires.
Yeah, because Wukong showed on Raptors too.
Not worried about it, saying, "Dope, we
If he did like a
this one,
weird
but it's
ass like
been
Wolves
fine.
Blue
In every
Grom,
game prior to this,
Wukong covers for
161
that
versus
and they get
517,
slaughtered.
A massive discrepancy, and okay, all right, but we're already scared.
LCS official.
That is definitely a large bicep on your screen right there. Dokla
Come on,
has been
Dokes.
massive bot side though. Hansama still trying to fight here.
Rob trying to get a little bit more. Broken Blade low mana.
it a
as
curse?
those-
Fudge it,
Is
let's
it a
beat
curse?
HLE
Skumon
and
on the
say
way up.
fudge all
Hasn't been
this
the
shit.
caster curse. Skumon go in for a little bit more, a bit more poke damage, but Dokla managing to live. Concedes both sums, but happy to walk away with his life.
No TP though, so he's definitely going to lose a significant portion from that, and now be kind of stuck under his turret for quite a while. So doesn't get the kill, but a nice gank by Skumon.
Yeah, large value there for Skumon. The answer, or the question is going to be then, what is Inspire going to do after Crab? Can he actually get there to contest the Raptors? Because they have mid lane move. They're actually going to full send bot again.
That's the portal.
Oh, they're
LeBron
cooked.
Hans going to be in trouble again. LeBron still has flash from the previous play, as does Hans. He's going to be forced
Hey,
to
it's
burn it
over.
now, and the damage is still coming in, and it's going to be enough. Isles taking the kill as Inspired flashes forward.
Inspired to shizzes on them.
Bro,
beautiful
Isles,
gank.
I mean, yeah, you kind of want to get a little bit like.
Guys,
but it's okay.
this is a my steak too buttery, my lobster too juicy moment. It's fine. It's fine.
They need this one. They need to get the kill under tower. Flash from Inspired goes back in. We'll see about the ramifications of that as well, though, because Caitlyn Bard, constant pushing, constant pressure. Now into the Yunara Lulu will keep them down for the mid game.
Yeah, the kills would be better
Isles
on
got
Berserker,
both the kills.
but Hansama being on 25 CS, no flash.
Bard's gonna hit
4.5
McKill so
minutes into
fast.
this
though.
game is the point of those ganks by Inspired.
And I'd even rather have them on Inspired too, because he is sacrificing camps to do these. You know, he's investing in bot lane.
Well, it's Trundle,
and he
you have
invested his
to.
flash there.
This
as
clears
well to
beyond
go back
slow you
under
want to
tower
gank.
to get the job done. And
Level 3
you know, the
ganks are
Trundle,
usual
they
for
do
him.
want him to have a good economy still in this game. Yes, a lot of it is, hey, we're going to focus on Caitlyn Bard, get them to have some very oppressive pushing and open up some roam timers for the Bard. But you still also, as Trundle, you always got to keep your own economy good as well.
Gentlemen, one of the lanes that's looking good in terms of trade is mid lane, but unfortunately because bot lane is going so well for Lion, it means Isles has this extra free time to roam in here and disrupt this power point. We talked about the pentakill for Caps. No doubt the most clutch player on this G2 lineup. Might not matter if he's not able to find that 1v1 in lane. Dokla just now ticking over to level 6. The trade so far have been favoring Broken Blade, but now that he can't use the Thundering Smash to knock back the Olaf, it's going to get a lot more difficult.
Yeah, still waiting on that Flash and Ghost to come back up to be able to show real threat towards Broken Blade's Jace. Also a much different game that we're going to be seeing here in terms of overall map plays. 0 TPs from anybody online. Last game we had 3, so they were really flying all over the place. Now they're going to be a lot more isolated in their own lanes.
Back to the top lane now, Inspired.
Walking up desperately, wants that one auto onto the plate.
So look at Wukong as well. So
yeah,
this is interesting because he's wrapping around and is going to place the deep control ward. They go for the ping here. Yes, thank you very much, observers, to try and get that information on Inspired's route.
Wrap around to mid. Saint first on the push. Rise wave clear at this point, still quite good. Seems we're going to have a hard time bursting out the Rise, especially as he gets closer and closer to completing that mid lane quest and the tier 3 boots. Extra shield can make a big difference. And trying to keep info on what Skumon has taken as he uses the overload just to poke at the Raptor camp, but it doesn't connect, so Scumon's fine.
Yeah, Saint,
So
even though he's down a little bit in CS, still able to keep the pressure up in this lane. Tries to get a little bit of information for Inspired, who's on his blue.
Bot lane, Berserker and Isles continuing to push up, and you can feel the tension in this game. The explosion of early action in the favor of Lion has slowed down a bit as they continue to build up these gold leads for Berserker.
Yeah, and a lot of the point that we were making about Inspired's early jungle power on the Trundle over the Wukong. Wait.
Journey coming through, heal for additional movement speed, locking up Hansama, ulti onto him as well. Scumon on the way in, wants to start spinning, has to body block the shot, and crucially does so. The play stops. Scumon continuing to walk up. Realm Warp on the way in, means Saint on the way too. That's going to be a kill back for Scumon, but he might just trade his life. Wants to take down Inspired, but does not have the damage
kill on him
to finish it. Saint hungry for more.
Yeah, Saint ghosts and roams. Look at the mid lane too. They had Dokla walk down there. It's over vision. He lands the axe.
He's going to run a Caps. Slowed him down. Caps has the flash, but
Ah,
I don't
he's
think there's
dead,
really
I
anywhere
think.
for him to go. Flashing finally away, but Saint over the wall as well. Locked up. The tower shot will not get them one in return.
Saint making plays, but Lions shift everything down bottom lane to really overload and win those skirmishes.
They're all on board with the mat movements. I mean, they send 4 people bottom to shift, and then Isles and Berserker.
Magical Journey. The Cosmic Binding connects. Oh, this is devastating. The trap there as well. This man can't move. Running back into the tower of Lion just to hit a plate, just to take time to contemplate what went wrong. He's as good as dead, but he's running for his life. He wants to go out on his terms. Broken Blade falls.
Trying to time out the execute, but the red buff definitely helping extend the damage. What a beautiful sequence there by Lion, shifting all over the map.
Yeah, it's just the rotations are so good. Everybody's on board as they make the play bottom. Then, okay.
Isles in trouble. Magical Journey, not enough. Quick kill for Caps.
Some hope back for G2. Caps does get the execution. Lions still snowballing the map here, but that is some money where they want it.
Oh, the washing
Let's
machine.
see how the lanes shake out here, because role quests still aren't completed, and they did a great shift, but now can they make it back? Remember, it's no TPs versus double TP, so G2 should be able to play a little bit of catch up as they're going to use that kill onto Isles to be able to secure these grubs.
That they are, although Broken Blade losing out on that cannon. It's like one additional CS on the return to top side. The grubs, though, going to feel nice for G2. Neither side has taken a Drake yet, so there's not this big pressure point that's going to force these fights as we saw in the first 2 games. But still, the early game looking rough, and Berserker is going to be the problem. You mentioned it. Once those role quests are done, that Caitlyn gets out of that lane, all your tier 1 towers are going to start to fall.
And the roaming will continue for Lion. You know, with Bard and Ryze especially, both Isles and Saint going to be making a lot of visits between bot lane and mid lane here.
Isles, ulti dash to the side. Spawning with an ulti as well from Isles.
You know, Isles is doing stuff. I'm not trusting what he's doing. He's missed a couple Qs, he's taken a few kills, but still trying to provide the pressure.
And I will say, getting that Yunara ult down, maybe that is super valuable for this dragon. No Yunara ultimate, and a lot of the power budget is in that thing. Whoa.
Nice
Full
stun.
connects. Isles able to magical journey out.
Gotta be careful about this Drake, though. Scumon would love to find another ultimate, especially on a flashless, altless Bard. So Lion needs to make sure they don't rush this. Berserker's in a good state in the game, and I think they just want to really play around this Caitlyn and possibly the Ryze when he moves.
As they do, Isles still a long time left on that Tempered Fate cooldown.
Top side play. Look at the rotation now. This time from G2. They've got Caps here. He wants a burst.
Nobody
Has
is
ulti.
there to defend for Dokla.
Shockwave goes wide. There's not really much of a play there. Caps relatively low on mana as well. Definitely could have gotten the full combo, but hoping Dokla would overextend into the 1-for-1 and fight with his flash available.
Big Dokes with the weak side play, not overcommitting, not face checking, managing to find Caps, and then just kind of cheat this next wave as well in the top lane. So surviving this early laning phase against the Jace as he's trying to scale up on the Olaf.
That he is. Broken Blade doing what he can to build up this gold lead. You can see the CS very much in his favor. The assist helping balance things out for Dokla, but we saw this in game 1-2 with the Anivia. A little gold lead, not enough when you have this really powerful topside matchup. You want to turn it into more. You see a potential play in the mid lane.
Yeah, G2 trying to get something because they know Lion are going to set up for the Dragon, and now they're going to make their way over. The objectives should be burned down in time for Lion, but can G2 close the trap shut here? It doesn't look like they'll be able to cut off anyone from Lion. Lebrov and Scumon still hunting.
Maybe Inspired will overcommit for a jungle camp, looking for an exit kill. Berserker under the tower here. Do they want to go for the dive? They don't have a wave to do it, but they're still trying to jail Berserker under this tower. Likely Inspired will cancel the recall. It's the cue to do it in the end.
Yeah, Isles on the way to defend as well, making sure they keep vision on
Lockdown onto Skumon, connects. Forced to move out with the Playful
Oh,
Trickster, and
he's
there's
dead.
the ulti right when they need it. Skumon gonna have to start spinning if he wants to get away from this one, trying to back up the
Nice.
two! Isles clutch in the moment, living for an extra second before Inspired bites
Trundle
down,
won't
takes a
have pillar,
chunk out of the
flashes.
G2 jungler. The ace in the hole. Saint on the
He
way.
misses, he's
Labrov moving in a different direction just because he knows he's a dead man walking. A beautiful play for Lion and for Isles.
Isles hits the cosmic binding to keep the play going, and Lion strike again in the bottom lane. They're gonna finish the first tower of the game on top of it.
I'm just gonna fill out another apology form. Isles, your Bard, I wasn't familiar with your game, but I love just the patience from Lion right there. Inspired, staying extra just in case there was a dive, then cautiously checking the bush to see if Skumon was still there.
So Berserker goes for the Q off of that stun, and then he tries to net over the wall here, but doesn't get it. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe Q can run away. But Isles says no way. He's going to be able to take them down. The immediate flash follow from Inspired and the chase down.
Cap's trying to make a difference in the bottom lane, but that's most of his damage. Flashback from Saint, respecting that there could be more members for G2 there, and indeed they are. Spots Hansama on the wave.
It feels like when a play goes good for Lion, that's when we pan back to Caps making a play. Can't quite get the kill there, though. Just gets the flash from Saint as Berserker
I think
is
it's
just
over,
moving
bro.
around the map, trying to farm the plates.
Skara, quick to get the tweets in. Ah, buddy, fair enough, fair enough. 2-0 up, Lion looking very dominant, and you highlighted it. Caps trying to hold the line, trying to do what he can, but his small gold lead in lane, the small trade advantage is really starting to fade away. Again, the tier 3 boots are there. There's not even a Roa, and Saint is still surviving the full combo from Caps.
Skumon looking for an angle here in the river, really trying to find that game or series changing fight. I remember G2 being down 0-2 to TES, and the game really turned on a scuttle crab chase into the turret.
I hear
G2
you.
looking for a similar type moment to pull things back.
Inspired, just walk into jungle, go for that scuttle crab. Labrov, don't do that. Come on, Inspired, tasty, tasty crab. Right in the river, just walk in, don't auto attack, and then for some reason walk into our
Syndra
tier
can
1.
steal it. We had Caps
Bait the hook.
in that TES game.
Little fishing. I don't think he'll do it.
Yeah,
I think we got one of those in this tournament as an EU rep, but maybe we'll get 2. The NA brain cannot resist a crab.
True, it is our weakness. We love our crabs. Dokla has been very patient in this bush. I don't think it's...
The Broloff versus the Broken Blade is especially powerful.
Wants to get that cannon.
Okay, a bit of poke.
Yeah, just cheating some experience. Still in survival mode against this Jace. I mean, Broken Blade's Jace has been able to accrue a 500 gold advantage for himself, and that's after absorbing that one gank. So really trying to just slowly chip away at this game before he arrives for the poke.
Skumon here for the cover, but Lion are bringing more members.
That they are. Skumon not positioned against the wall, so the Cosmic Binding won't do much here, but he's just getting poked. It's a bit of damage back onto Isles. Quick Magical Journey takes him out.
Herald.
Just this constant thorn in the side of G2 Esports. Isles has been playing this game very proactively. I know you guys are like, we would have like some kills to go here. We would have like some other stuff to go here. But overall, his impact in this game, incredibly positive.
And
for
with
Lion.
those kills, you want all of the damage so that you get the kill for sure anyway.
Yep. They were close.
Yeah, if one of those kills does not get, you actually secure it, then you're way more heartbroken. So let's take a look, because he's on us on a good power spike too. Does get his Blood Song now for Bard, even with the nerfs to the damage of Bard. Still very powerful there, and his Mikhail's at the ready to try and deal with that CC from G2 when
Dude,
they
it's
go
over.
for the
I
big
can't
play.
believe it,
So
man.
nice for Lion to be
NA
able to
top
have
3
kills for your Trundle
tonight, and I
Olaf
miss
having
it,
his own
bro.
ultimate to
I'll
go
just look
CC
it up
immune, so
after I
their
know
front
Lion
line
win.
can really be difficult for G2 to solve.
Lion win, I'll
Yeah,
rewatch
Lion's
it,
got to
sure.
be really careful with how they approach the Lulu Yunara with the current power spikes. They can go beast mode. They have the Arden Sensor, the Yunara Art, the Lulu ult, and really try and run over fight, especially if Skumon finds a good engage.
And prioritizing the Ardent Sensor means there's that much more pressure on Hansama to play incredibly clean. If that Bard Binding lands, there's no Mikhails to save him. Tower getting chunked out here. 4 members of G2 committing. Saint pushing in the top lane. Skumon tanking a tower shot. Now it's Dokla who's going to run in. And then immediately
Bard
run back,
miss.
opting out of the fight, but the tower still stands for an extra second as the wave will finally crash.
So they are going to continue their split push. It's top side for Lion and mid lane for G2 as Broken Blade gets his way up to the tower as well. And I think that is just going to be Lion sacrificing this dragon for sure.
Yeah.
There's no way for Saint to get down there, so they want that side lane rise to become that priority.
Inferno.
They can open this map up, get those outer towers down.
And I think that was a
Dude,
pretty
I
big
can't
power
believe it's
spike
over
for G2 to
on
play off of
Fudge.
with the Yunara and the Lulu
That's
overloading
insane.
that bot side. So they get the turret, they get the Drake, and it's just Lion doing a
I
pretty
expected,
classic
like,
Lion play, cross-mapping
G2
to try and
sweep.
get Saint a little bit ahead so we can split push later in the game.
Saint 2-0-2, not the biggest gold lead against Caps, but definitely going to be a terror, especially against so many short-range champions on the top side of the map. See if Caps and the rest of G2 can keep him at arm's length.
Yeah, Caps is doing a trailing play at the moment. They are kind of expecting a move from Lion, and so when you keep the Syndra in the fog of war there, waiting to see if you can get a stun from long range, if anybody went to attack Broken Blade there, they're covering their bases. They're really trying to guess at Inspired's game plan, and which has been very difficult for G2 this series.
Yeah, Inspired had the 2-camp gank bot, which really set the tone for this game, and has just been trying to keep Berserker ahead the entire time afterwards. Lebrov had to flash away from Isles there.
Brav losing that flash, pretty devastating. Again, the pillar from Inspired, excellent pick tool, especially when you got that extra bit of movement speed from the Scuttle Crab, from the Trundle W, running in to set that behind. Follow-up could be there too. Have not really seen that full 5v5 fight. Neither side wanting to fully commit, but Lion getting first setup means G2 very unlikely to contest. Again, a lot of range with the Syndra Jace. When you have to move into that fog of war, you are incredibly vulnerable. Skewmon the only one who can face check, and he's gonna check with his face. And now he sees nothing as Lion immediately back off.
And I do think Lion is not looking for fights at this particular stage of the game. I think you want 2.5 items on Dokla if you're really going to force, but you also want your Caitlyn to have an actual item advantage over the Yunara to show the gold league. He's just sitting on Collector and Components, whereas Hansama is essentially as strong, but then stronger because of the Ardent Sensor Lulu. So this is a state of the game where G2 can actually look to make some proactive plays because their items give them a lot of power.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at Skewmon here on the Wukong with Flash and ult both available. Level 11 spike for him. Let's see if they can find that pick, because mid lane is definitely on everybody's radar over there. As Isles does pass through the G2 vision, they're going to collapse and not open any opportunities. But you are looking at the flashless Lulu as a possible pick target, so have to remain very safe in this vision coverage.
Yep, and flashes up across the board for Lion. The opposing side would take a look at the Coinbase gold grind. Of course, Hansama pretty far Berserker. Keep in mind that's with the Cole gold as well. So Berserker really had his number in the laning phase. Hansama doing what he can to scrape together some gold to get to that second item.
And that gold turns into meaningful power with the Infinity Edge being completed here for him. So side lanes being dealt with. Saints able to get the top side as well. So that's objective number 1 for Lion with this comp. You know, get those side lanes nice and open, and then they can return to the Rift Herald here. Again, really good vision setup. They're doing their due diligence here, getting all of the information prep, and then securely go take the objective. They didn't have a reason to risk it earlier on. They back off. They give it the time.
They had to take it, though. It was about to despawn, so they had to, they had to rush it.
They're very patient.
Controlled,
Very patient.
rushing the objective down. Lion very much in their comfort zone here. Again, we highlighted how important Hansama can be when we get into the later points of the game. Has the Fiend Hunter Bolt a second item. Certainly not as powerful when you look at raw value as an IE, but when he ults, he is going to get that immediate burst, that ability to potentially shred through a target. Dokla, the other person we have to keep our eye on, because while he suffers in the 1v1, will eventually be a big problem for G2 Esports, especially as he can just build a lot of armor, and if Caps burns his cooldowns on the Olaf, it feels like a winning formula for Lion.
It is going to be interesting, because G2, they're very fragile, but they have so much damage.
Yep.
I think the term glass cannon is applicable. If you just kill the Olaf, then you don't have to CC him. So
This is true.
If the timings aren't correct on the engages, then you certainly could have a lot of damage. And especially like if Jace does get some poke damage ahead of time, there definitely are some opportunities there. But again, I'm going to be pretty worried about what can Isles create with this Bard ahead of time. Maybe they burn some flashes or something, and then it's harder to operate.
I do really feel like Lion has to flank for these team fights. If it's Dokla just trying to run through Jace, Syndra, Yunar, Lulu, he's dead. I don't think that's the approach to team fights. But Lion historically has been really good at finding flanks on team fights, so it's Saint finding an angle most likely, and then once they distract them, that's when I feel like Doku will try and
Saint is on the flank now. Mid lane tower potentially in trouble. Saint coming around the corner. G2 realize they have to back away. Good play from Lion, breaking open mid lane tier 1, opens up so much more of the map. As Skumon is so quick to jump in and stop anyone from riding on the Herald.
He smites it though, so if Lion tries to burst this dragon, they might just go for it. At the very least, G2 would have to approach through these Caitlyn traps. They're not going to rush it though. They'd love to try and find a fight if G2 moves in.
G2 playing for mid prio. They've already lost bot prio. So trying to take control of mid before they start to phase check. Ultimate going to connect on LeBron. Inspired moving in a nice pillar to isolate Cap. Dokla, instantaneous flash over the wall. Ragnarok into the back line.
Oh
they
my
can't quite
gosh.
pass the DPS check, and he manages to make it out. Saint in pursuit, as is Inspired. G2 being pushed back. 4 members still standing. Support traded for jungler, but it favors Lion.
Incredibly close there. Just the 1-for-1, with that starting with LeBron literally stepping on a trap, getting Bard ultimated into a trap combination. And so if you get hit with the Bard ultimate, it's guaranteed Caitlyn trap. Look, Berserker puts it down now, so there's gonna be so much damage. Pillar to separate. Inspired's gonna give him a bite, and they think, probably going to be able to finish that kill, but he survives, and then the counter on the other side.
I'm really shocked that LeBron was able to win, but it's because the counter engage there by Skumon, who ends up giving his life, just pulled the attention of the fight to him.
They end up with a 1-for-1 Dracos. The dragon taken beforehand for Lion.
It's a good spot to be in. Realm up to the top side. They're not satisfied with a 1-for-1. Cap's now in trouble. Tries to get away. The magical journey is there. Wants to get some damage down before he drops. G2 now feel like they have to make this play happen. Skumon thinks better of it, starts to back away, but it might be too late. Lion pushing in this top wave, poised to take down the tier 2 tower.
Probably just the kill onto Caps. Lion does have 5 people here, but they've used most of their crucial cooldowns. I wonder if they think about the Baron here.
They have Ragnarok, they have Tempered Fate. Caitlyn is strong. It still might feel like too tall of a task, but if Lebrov gets caught, it certainly won't. Lockdown is there. Dokka ready to go to the back line. He's got the Ragnarok ready to go, and he's starting to run back to the remaining members of G2. Skumon down. Jungler out of the equation, but the low health bars likely mean Lion cannot start the Baron.
Another successful hit there for Lion. They pick another kill. The first one onto Caps. He had to flash because Skumon in the fight had focused him, had Trundle pillared and gotten the flash early. They get that pick. They turn to one more inside the jungle. Slowly but surely, they're adding little bits of extra gold to their coffers.
Yeah, Lion throwing lots of jabs here. You can see, knowing that he's flashless, they get LeBron. But Skumon finds a good angle. It's just no one is there to follow up. Caps was dead, so they didn't have that last bit of damage to cut through either Isles or Dokla. Then they have to retreat afterwards. I'm still going to say it's a very tense game, because if Lion's getting these like single kill fights, but if the Yunar Lulu get going, they could run through a team fight on the back end.
Does get a bit scary. Isles playing with fire.
Jeez, Kaylin shut down.
The more risky that kind of play gets, but I think what's going to make it so frustrating, Jet, is that we're probably going to see a rapid fire cannon. And a single Caitlyn auto taking out half of Hansama's health before a fight even starts just does not set up G2 for success, does not set them up on the right foot.
Yeah.
Again, the Olaf only getting scarier. He's on 1.5 items, and every time he flashes in, he demands the attention of G2. They have to try to burst him down.
And it does feel like Lion is currently playing with the sense of calm. So they're taking the small wins, and they're just slowly accumulating them. 2 Drakes right now. Next Drake in 2 minutes. They have the 3 items on Caitlyn, as you mentioned, and they can kind of play around. Flash cooldowns from pillars. Did they land a Bard ultimate into a trap? And they're going to take those small wins all day long.
I want to see how G2 can solve their face checking issue, because their comp is so fragile with so much damage. Vision is such a premium resource. We saw it last time around, with Lebrov trying to face check the bush and then getting Bard ultied and being a combo target. It's even hard for Skumon. When Skumon is left alone there as the point man, getting burst down in a couple of these fights, they're going to need to sync up and rotate the cooldowns on their scryers from their trinkets, use everything at their disposal, and Syndra combos with long range.
Isle still living. Block it there, Caps. Nice rocket belt to get out from the Tempered Fate. Lion, very positive trade of cooldowns.
Yeah, man, Lockett really eats up that Syndra ultimate right there. It felt like he just stopped taking damage when he pressed it right there. And they're fighting over this mid lane. And to your point, Kobe, like unless G2 is set up first, how do they really get through any of those tanks? To
I don't
cover
know,
Olaf?
man.
The poke will
I
come
think
nothing
it's,
to them.
yeah, it's over.
Yeah, vision is difficult to get, but they have long-range Jace poke and Syndra stuns can set up big comebacks. Look at this. You've got the Olaf waiting in the wings there. Doklu constantly looking for these flank angles. He's going to back off.
Focus there. You can see G2 playing towards the top side of the river because that is where they have vision. That's where they can guarantee they won't get flanked from. Now trying to push in
Drake
towards
30.
the bottom side river, but playing very cautiously, knowing that someone could be lurking.
How
in
long
the
was the
dark
other
zone. They
game?
spot Dokla. And now it's Lion who have to be a little bit careful on the approach. Caps once again
I
tries
can't
to find Scout of the
remember.
Week, but an excellent 90 caliber head from Berserker
20-something
stops any
minutes
potential
deep into
play.
20
Scary
minutes.
moment there. G2 had a good position, but they've used their cooldowns, and now
Dokla,
Lion has retake the river a bit.
they spot him.
He's been
They saw him.
seen.
They saw him.
They know they have to mark the flanker, but can they kill him? Dokla waiting for Broken Blade, now ulting, looking for the Ragnarok. Broken Blade running for his life. Is he going to be fast enough? Skumon also backing away, down a level. Dokla creating so much space.
Yeah, and the rest of line, you can see them leaking from the mid lane. They're like, we will support you. And Dokla keeps his ult up by continually auto-attacking there. He fights off Skumond as well. Got a decent amount of damage done. Olaf ultimate will be down though, which is a big, big tool. Let's see about this.
Yeah,
Looks like
I mean,
G2 are going to seed the dragon
They have
and wait.
to.
Ow.
They have to give it. You can see the poke that Berserker can get down. They basically, Broken Blade was completely chunked out and burned his flash, so they have to concede the Drake after Dokla just takes on two.
Such a good position for Lion to be in. Only need Inspired to focus the Drake. The rest of them can fight for space around the Baron, and now it's Labrov who's instantaneously forced to flash, but now he's got nothing for the Tempered Fate. G2 gonna do what they can to try to peel him away, but Berserker is so damn strong!
There's
Bard
Baron.
ult into Caitlyn trap into headshots. And that's another pick. That's another kill. G2, they constantly have to respect Bard ultis and Realm Warps, and now the Baron.
Jace is going to TP in. I feel like they're going to have to try and stop
You can't
this.
TP.
Miles
It's,
doing what he
they're,
can to body
it's too
block.
fast. Too
Temper turning.
fast.
Skumon ready to move in. Cyclone there. Can he win the 50-50? Lion aren't going to give him the angle. Backing off at 3K. Lion holding the Baron. Isles getting lower. Berserker waiting
Why are
for
they
the wall,
holding
ready
it?
to go. A step forward,
so
chunking
tense,
out
they're just
Caps.
getting lower.
Caps is about to die.
What?
Solo killing Caps. A little support from Isles. Lion determined to take the objective. Dokla ready to fight.
It's so over. They played it so
Berserker,
well.
Hatsama wants to make the difference. This might not be enough. Lockdown on the Broken
Nah,
Blade.
it's GG.
Berserker sets a takeover. Sending G2 to Valhalla. Lion get the Baron.
Maybe a
and that's
reunite
it,
in
the
Valhalla.
The patience from Lion on that Baron. Are you kidding me, Dracos? They keep it leashed at 3K for what seems like an eternity.
Fourth place,
and they're gonna
G2.
make
Damn.
this series short.
The trust that they have in each other to play that sequence out, and they land another Bard ult.
Their fate
Oh, he
tempered,
emoting.
But all they can hope for is another 2.5 seconds in this one. LeBron falls. Lion dominating.
Caps is going to respawn, so I don't think this is going to be the push for the Nexus just yet. But Lion have taken a huge lead right here.
Isles,
Oh, that's
my
over.
Man, pick after pick.
Alright,
after
I might
pick
hop
after
off
pick on
after this,
Bard.
obviously, but
LeBron cannot
I have to be
avoid
short, bro. I have
the
to, like,
tempered fates from
I
Isles.
gotta
He's
take a
landing
day, bro,
every
you know
single
me.
one, but the
Well, I
key
took one
point
yesterday, but
in
yesterday
this
was
fight
awful. That
is
was so
Berserker
sick.
on the side here
Bro was
into
ordering,
Caps. The
bro
K-Line
was asking
works
for
over,
chocolate
gets
milk,
the
bro.
headshot,
Oh
lands
my
the ultimate,
gosh.
and they just hold this Baron at 3,000 the entire time.
Yeah, they just let Berserker get to work while they're staring him down. They didn't care about the Baron damaging them inside the pit. And then, once they know they have the advantage, once Caps is down,
Yeah, I
they
gotta
go
get
for
more
the
sleepy
play.
for work
And
today.
even Dokla survives on the bottom side.
But I didn't get spoiled by
Every
this.
member of Lion there
I honestly
to
woke up
see
and
the
thought
triumph.
G2 3-0 them.
Man, the passive healing from Trundle there.
Why is
for
Rey
Inspired
Mysterio
allows him
there?
to take so much damage and heal up at every subsequent kill.
Top
Now,
3, baby.
4 full
Top
item
3.
Caitlyn with the Bloodthirster to immune the poke from Broken Blade. You hit him, maybe you get the shield. If you do get the shield,
Top
you can life
fudging
steal
3.
up. 9,000 gold lead. Lion gonna go in for the kill.
Lion marching down the top lane. Scatter the weak going wide. Flashbacks to last year at MSI. Flashback to the match versus NRG.
Dude, we're almost
best of
done with
3.
MSI, bro.
Is Lion determined
That's
to
insane.
break G2. Good rocket belt out from Caps. Hansama, Q stacked. Mikhail's now going to be used. Dokla threatening from the side. Lion looking to give no room to maneuver to the side of G2 Esports, who are desperate to hold on to what they can in their base.
Damn.
G2 Another
Yeah, I'm gonna make
scatter.
something to eat,
This
get
one
some
connecting,
chocolate
but
milk.
the follow-up simply
Finish
isn't there.
Cyberpunk.
Using
Have
the
a good
Cinder
day.
range to try to zone them away, just hoping to clear these waves. 30 seconds left on the Baron. Dokla running in for Broken Blade, making it look personal. To hold on to his life, but it costs the Wild growth.
Yeah, no Luluwalt means it might be time to go
Flash in, Skewmon trying to make a difference. It doesn't do any damage. Skewmon still running, still holding on.
Look how
Flash
fed this
Berserker.
Trundle is.
Down he goes, Broken Blade final back, healing up off the fountain, but Inspired is unkillable. Saint may have gone too far. Caps looking to fall, the timing has to be perfect, but no, the McHale's is there. Lion moving into the base of G2,
GG.
not giving them any chance to force a fight on their terms. Double towers down, Nexus
yes, the
exposed,
base.
and G2
They just play
in
the Nexus.
shambles.
The shock blast gives them hope at the chase. Will they try to extend the play? Broken
can.
Blade does
Trundle
have teleport,
pillars.
Caps has teleport, but they've got nowhere to use them. No flank wards. Lion are going to make their exit.
That's
no
it,
need to
man.
rush now. They're up 17 kills
30
to 3,
seconds, Drake.
9,000
Their
gold,
Nexus
and
is
2
open.
Nexus turrets. Saint gets
this
dangerously low,
force
but
sweeper build,
Berserker
dude?
continues to be exceptional in this game. Headshot after headshot. I think it would have been pretty risky for them to finish the Nexus there with how low Saint was, so they're not trying to give G2 away back in this game with the Infernal Soul coming up in 15 seconds.
Exceptional bottom lane, you know, as does Isles. Your
Isles,
boy,
man. Isles!
Your boy deserves that 2,000 gold lead that he has.
Isles fell under so much criticism, spending a couple years on Dignitas, losing a bunch of games. When this roster got put together, people said, well, it's nice that they have Inspired and Berserker, but Isles, and he's done nothing but improve. Lock-in champion, spring split
over.
champion, and potentially MSI lower bracket finalist.
Yeah. Throughout the
Third
year in
place
LCS,
guaranteed.
Improved so much. Stumbled at the beginning of this tournament, but gets right
Bro,
back
we
up
beat-
there when it
we
matters.
beat
And now
Furion,
Lion here trying to close
Team
the game.
Secret
They
Wales.
have the Infernal Soul, the extra damage, and we
A
cursed
potential
him.
caster curse, down he goes.
Team
Well done,
Secret
gentlemen.
Wales.
Tell me more, Inspired.
And then
Incredible
G2.
year, incredible player.
Inspired.
He's so
And
good.
we lost
Okay,
to
it's not gonna work.
He runs
BLG.
our region.
Does. He 3
Bro, look at this
last
shit.
MSI. I don't know. That was not great. That's
was
gonna
What the
delay
fudge is this?
game for
This
sure. And
this
we know
gets you
G2,
third place.
gotta
You got to just
remember,
beat these teams. It'd be
they
Furia,
never give
Team
up.
Secret,
They have
G2. You
2
get third
reverse
place.
sweeps, one in the
It should have
LEC
been
playoffs,
T1.
one
But
so far here at MSI. They would need to pull a rabbit out of a hat, though, here, Dracos.
That they would, and they would also need to keep their mid laner alive. His Caps now being ulted. The ace, oh my god, Berserker, legendary. I think that more than makes up for a little fumble from Isles. Mid laner down, so much of the range threat, the range engage now removed as Lion set up in the bot lane. May look to be just taking the tower. Not gonna risk it though, again. So calm, so controlled. Do not want to risk anything against G2.
All right, here comes G2 though. Broken Blade on the hunt.
Broken Blade going in. Hansama chunked out.
You're not
Has to
doing
stay
shiz
out of
with
range.
this
Berserker
Caitlyn
needs to
on this
continue
team,
to
bro.
backstep. Ulti there, but it's Saint into the back line. Spinning, shut down.
Saint, you're
A disaster
goofy.
from Saint. Lion now might need to complete the play, force a greater advantage. Temper Fate does not connect. Hansama retreating. Lion, do they want to go for the end here?
I don't think so. It looked like I could see Inspired saying either calm down, fall back, because that was a very hyphy play by Saint there. He saw the victory. Rise ults in, doesn't get to press his Zonias. He had an amazing Zonias in the Victor game last game. Doesn't, I think it was just a CC chain, couldn't get it off.
We have had many Rise Realm Warps at this
Berserker?
tournament that have been delivering people to their deaths.
If Hansama steps up here, he gets one shot. I don't know if he's still lurking. Observers, dang you are so tricky. But there is a murder machine
It's 45.
waiting in that brush.
It's a risky play. G2's
He's probably
definitely gonna force
recalled.
something here.
He's recalled. Observers, please.
No, he's in there, buddy. They're both in
He's
there.
walking mid.
Baron dies
G2
fast.
trying to force.
They might give it.
G2 are going to do it.
They're just
They
going to
bring
take
the
Baron. They've just wandered in. Objective bounty claimed. And I think EU, we take those. We'll get what we
Blood
can
died
at this
insanely
You
fast.
certainly do, Dracos. The hope, the fuel for that
The time is off for
possibility
Elder,
of
though, by
another
20
reverse
seconds.
Sweep, another comeback at MSI. It's still very far away.
We talked about the TES Scuttle Crab in mid lane.
Sorry,
It
bro,
could
there's
be
not
the
enough
Saint
time
Realm
unless
warp into
the stream
base.
short-circuited.
Those are the types of moments that can turn series around.
This
Lions
wasn't a
still
VOD,
have
I'd be
soul.
considering
They
it.
still have the gold lead. They still have a problem in the bot lane with Berserker, but the hope is there.
Giving them something. At the very least, time in this game, 2 minutes where they can certainly hold their waves. stall for this inhibitor to respawn. Won't be up as the Baron fades, but gets them closer to potentially contesting the Elder that's spawning in 3 minutes. The difficulty, of course, Lion still very far ahead. You highlighted it so well. Berserker approaching that 6th item. Boots are already there. Can sell his door in soon. He's only getting scarier.
Berserker is very strong, but Hansama has 4 full items and a Lulu in his back pocket, so Hansama very strong as well.
Have to be careful. They're wandering around the traps. They will spot him out. Inspired, keep your eyes on that pillar. That'll be the go sign. Skewmon enough armor not to just get completely deleted. Death's Dance, though, you can see, stalls it a bit, but still so much damage from Berserker.
Lion absolutely has to respect the team fighting here from the Unar if they stay as the unit. Dokla constantly looking for that angle.
And you see Caps constantly backstacking, anticipating that Dokla can come from the flank. They know they can't step too far forward either because they don't have a tower there to defend them.
Okay, I mean, Jace's poke is cool, but have you seen Berserker with a rapid fire proc? Holy, he walks up and he is doing like 400-500 damage. Let's see it. When he gets one of those with a headshot and walks up on somebody, it is devastating. And G2 again, very fragile comp, so you can't take too many of those.
No, you cannot. Puts pressure on their poke composition.
Gold isn't crazy,
They
just
can
want to
land
push
one
out
of those on a key
waves.
target to immediately force the engage, which I think Lion are more than comfortable with.
And even just onto Skewmon there, who is most likely to be the person at the front of the fight. We'll see how.
Power still alive. Caps now has his death cap. 4 items does not stop for any defensive
Here we go,
optimization
Caps.
outside of the mobility the rocket belt provides.
You gotta be
Once
shitting me.
again, connecting onto Labrov. No follow-up there. Caps poking over the wall, chunking out Isles. Stops the engage from Lion.
Kalen wasn't
critically.
close enough.
Damage.
Lion really careful not to overcommit like they did in the base earlier. So, I mean, the game is telling us objective bounties are still up. So the Lion is quite ahead, but you can see G2 is playing extremely well around this mid-wave to keep the pressure up.
One more explosive fight could just end it in Lion's favor. G2 are going to need multiple things to go their way. 40 seconds on Elder. Playing towards the top side of that river. They'll spot out Dokla with a blue trinket. Berserker still standing. Flash in from Skewmon. Inspired still
That's
living.
too good for Lion.
Doka rampaging through and getting
Yeah,
right
Dokla
back
snarfed
out.
it.
G2 falling apart in the fight. Hatsama not enough. That auto from Berserker is disgusting. Realm more forward to ensure Broken Blade has no room to return to his own base. Berserker
Looking
is
inspired.
too damn good. Inspired.
He dancing on the
dancing on the
trundle.
graves of
He dancing
Europe.
on the
Top
trundle.
lane toppled.
NA, you have secured top 3 at
collapsed,
International.
and Europe has been gapped by North America. Lion taking
What was
their
that?
time,
Since
making it
whoa,
look
since
North
when?
America.
Since 2019.
Lion
You're talking about our
taking their
MSI
time,
placement.
making it look damn
2nd
good
place.
as they sweep G2 out of this tournament.
Inspired dancing and waving.
Sending Europe home. A lot of beef, I think.
Alright, I won't watch the
Inspired
interviews, then I'll
against
peace out.
G2 has talked openly
That's-
about how
that's
he wants
good.
to play against Caps, but sends him home from MSI 2 years in a row with 2 sweeps.
And it's just a reminder that no matter how good or how bad the previous series either of these teams played, one team can just show up on the day and make all the difference. I think every single role, it felt like there was a tangible gap between these two teams, which after that Team 1 series, people may not have anticipated, but the NA faithful well and truly rewarded an incredible performance from Lion.
This team is playing with so much confidence and Inspired.
I
has
can't wait to see
full
Cage's
swagger
reaction
right
to
now.
this. Just-
He is trying to train.
He lands here.
G2, E1, but this was about this.
It's our great.
Can.
I feel like Lion just with series, included played insane against T1, but Isles was
It's
having
been
more of an
7
impact,
years
and Lion's preparation,
since
I think,
2019.
was stellar. They were able to set up matchups where Isles could
If
really
we
thrive in the
somehow
bot lane.
beat
Ezreal
HLE,
Karma, Caitlyn
7
Bard,
years it's
Dokla
taken
was
to
such
be
a
like
big playmaker,
like
and
2019.
on
Once
your
again,
screen.
Once again, he does
2019
it. 2 years in
G2,
a row against G2.
TL,
Sweeps. It
right?
is Inspired once again.
TL
Not the same teammate
MSI
standing by his side,
finals.
But he keeps on beating us all the time. Like,
We
yeah,
got
I have
swept
no words
3-0.
For how good this guy is and for how good he is at
We are now
helping his team
3rd.
shine, because I feel like
We face
every
HLE
Lion
tonight.
member today had something to show. You've talked about Isles. Honestly, props to them because they kept on ramping.
We have
up
not
the
faced
entire
them. We
tournament.
have
Sure,
faced
G2
BLG, not
didn't show
Shiz
up,
done
but
though.
This Lion team has been amazing.
Yeah, and I think you saw what makes Inspired so formidable in every single game, right? Like game 1, he played super patient. They dragged out the pace of the game. He wasn't
Inspired in it.
Yeah.
Here is in post-game interview.
승리를 가져온 라이온의 인스파이어 선수 모셨습니다. 생일 축하드립니다. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Please give it up for Inspired.
Insane. I thought I had an energy drink laying around here.
대결입니다. 이렇게 3대0
Me too.
승리하면서 다음 라운드에 진출하게 되었는데요. 어떤 게 더 기분이 좋으신지 여쭤보겠습니다. 북미의 희망을 이어가게
I don't think
돼서 더
exploded.
기쁘신지
I thought I fell
아니면
on my
유럽의
desk.
마지막 희망 G2를 집에 보내서 더 기쁘신지 여쭤보겠습니다. Congratulations on the huge win. Now I have to ask this question. Which one feels better? Winning and keeping the NA's hope alive or sending the last hope of EU G2 back home?
I think it's a pretty obvious answer. I think sending G2 home feels way better.
너무 당연한 답변인 것 같다고 하는데요. 당연히 G2를 집에 보내서 기분이 너무 좋다고 합니다. 사실은 G2의
what's the
기세가
second
매우
area? Did it tell
대단했습니다.
us?
오늘 어떤 점이 잘 풀렸기에 이렇게 3대0 깔끔한 승리
Lion
가져올 수
Ace
있었는지
Elite.
그리고 3대0 승리 예상하면서 경기장에
There is
오셨는지 여쭤보겠습니다.
Bro, why are you
Well,
interviewing
G2
Broken
was also
Blade?
in a great momentum.
Oh, it's
Were
Big
you
Dogs.
expecting a 3-0 win today? And what allowed you guys to get such an easy and clean win today?
I mean, I knew we are a better team. I think they were just really lucky to win yesterday. I think T1 just played not to their standard. That's why G2 managed to sneak a win. So I was very confident going into the series, and I'm happy we took revenge for T1, and they were doing nothing. So it was pretty easy.
우리가 더 강한 팀이기 때문에 이번 T1전에서 G2가 그냥 우연의 복수인 것 같고 합니다. 네 선수의 맞대결을 매우 Everyone was really hyped about this matchup in the jungle. You versus Scuman, the best two
Bro,
junglers in
Skimon
the
was
West.
invisible.
What was the most important thing going into this jungle matchup?
Not sure. I didn't really focus who I'm versing. I was just playing, having good plans, trying to predict enemy plays. There wasn't many to predict, so I think they didn't really contest our game plan. Honestly, I don't know.
오늘 누구를 상대하냐는 없고 내내
Yeah, let's get the big dogs, bro.
is the best jungler in the West now.
I mean, for me, it wasn't a debate for a long time. I think I'm the best since a few years already, but there was a lot of people thinking there is a competition. So yeah, I'm happy. Gonna meet
We
again
all
in
know
some
Dantes
tournament
is the
where
best.
they will be able to try to get the revenge.
사실은 몇 년 동안 나의 생각을 가지고 있었고 경기에서 다음 대회에서 또 한 번 이렇게 매치업에 다음 대결에서
Dude's got
조금 더
like 6
팽팽한
signs
경기가 나올
there.
수 있을지 그래서 LCK, the LCK,
Bro.
Life Esports. What is your mindset heading onto that match?
Not sure. I mean, they are really good at fighting and they're very aggressive. So we definitely need to have good champions in the early game to contest them. Early game that great, really good in the big house. I think that should be our best.
적이고 또 해야 될것
Get the big
그때도
dose, bro.
그래서 난 너무
Inspired is out of
잘했고
legend
여기까지
brains, bro.
Can be
Getting
proud, and so does the rest of Lion here, and we have Big Dogs joining us
Let's
after
go!
that amazing victory.
What
Of
the
Lion
fuck did
here,
that
and
say?
we have Big Dogs joining us
Let's
after
go!
that
Yeah.
amazing victory.
Different A. Let's go.
Oh, shiz.
Congrats, man.
Here, Jocelyne, I need you to accept my apology for him for betting against you in predictions.
Yeah, thank you. Jealous of my muscles.
I'm
that's
always
about
It's
it.
jealous.
40
We'll take it.
bucks?
That can
We'll
happen
take
to
it.
any of us. That
Yeah,
can
we'll
happen
take
to
it.
any of us.
Any immediate reactions after today's
I just want to say
stomp?
7 teams pass up on me in NA, and I'll leave it at that.
I mean, it's true. People have got to stop
Yeah.
overlooking
Yeah,
you. I
this
think
is-
not only regionally but internationally. I felt like Honor Thieves at Worlds, you had a really good individual performance. Then you came back, you didn't get the offers. Then you weren't even, initially supposed to be on Lion.
Yeah.
You get another opportunity. Here you are.
Yeah.
You've taken down G2. Have you ever lost a game to G2?
I don't think so. We
No,
beat them
yeah.
2-0 and now it's 3-0.
You haven't.
I'm 5-0
Oh
all
my
time.
God.
You have a 100% win rate against
Maybe
you.
maybe
True,
they'll
true,
hire
true.
me in EU now. I don't know.
Bro was out of a team at the start. Lions top laner had visa issues. They called in Dokla. He's won 2 LCS titles and is now the top 3 team at an MSI or an international.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this series though. Like, how did it go on the real? Expectations versus reality, because it felt very controlled for you guys.
Honestly, I don't even remember what I picked game 1. So it
You
was
had
Renekton, right? It
Renekton
was
in game
Renekton.
1, yeah.
So
It was
I felt-
Renekton and Evia.
Yeah. I mean, looking back into their T1 series, I thought they actually the victory that they had. Obviously, they won, but like I didn't think it was like super dominant way that they won. I think it was mainly from draft. So as long as we had a good draft, I thought we'd be playing better, and it kind of showed today. So that was my expectation going in, and I don't think I was
Apparently
gonna,
peaked dropped,
picked
and
in
it's
lane,
40
like
bucks.
The Yasuo, nice try. You know, I've seen it a million times. So yeah, I was pretty confident going in.
We were talking about how EU versus NA, of course, is always an ego matchup, especially when you two
Bro,
look
what
at the
happened
two
while I was
psychopaths you
asleep?
guys
What the
have in the
fudge?
jungle on your side and on G2's side. You played so methodical, controlled the entire series. How hard was it to like fight those urges, maybe to prove a point, play in their face?
I mean, it was hard for Saint in that end sequence. Like,
Steam somersaults are I didn't
and
know
he
that.
wanted me to go into it as well. I'm like, bro, I'm 1 HP. Anyways, it was a little hard once we like felt the victory right there in game 3. But before that, I think we were pretty focused for the most part. I mean, that's just how we play. That's just the inspired CEO style of playing the game. So, yeah, we all were, you know, really comfortable given just playing slow, trading objectives when we think we can't fight. So it was like a normal game for us.
Yeah, it felt like the only 2 times watching you guys that you looked a little bit nervous was right before the series ended and then at the start of game 1. It felt like both teams looked a little bit nervous at the start of game 1. I remember this first Dragon fight where, you know, Inspire misses W flash, Hans shoots an Ash Arrow, he misses, Saint steals it, he misses. It was kind of like, okay, everyone's like, settle down a little bit. You could see the heart's pounding a bit. How crazy was it though in those final moments? Because you guys got this massive lead. And you have Soul, and you're up 6K,
I'm not
and
seeing
then
it anywhere.
Picked, and then we have the Realm Warp incident. What, were you guys sweating a little bit?
I mean, not really, because I felt like late game we just win. Because our Caitlyn, we still had Soul at that point, and our Caitlyn's just gonna slowly chip them over time. So, and we have Trundle Pillar against like relatively no mobility carries, and we found a good angle on Syndra, and after that the fight was just wrapped. So it was mainly like,
it is.
yeah, we threw, but
it's
we were still
$51.
confident that, you know, if we just fight how we want to,
Because
and
I'm in
don't
Canada.
realm alt forward, or don't want to do something really stupid, then it should be fine for us.
We have Inspired as the Oppo player of the series today. His listen was disgustingly good. That was a Chinese TikTok listen, honestly. But the entire series, I felt like he was pretty much in control and set you guys up as well for success. What do you think of the way he performed today?
I mean, exceptional, you know. Pretty much shot called everything.
Is this chick robotic?
Just gives really good vision on how we're going to play the game, which objectives we're going to trade and all that. So really just unifies us, gets us all on the same page, and games look relatively clean once we have control of it.
For what it's worth, I think if Inspired didn't play quite so well, I think you actually would have won player of the series. I thought you were going kind of crazy.
Yeah, we had the 2 of you, honestly.
Oh, nice.
It was a close call.
It was between the 2 of you.
Yeah.
But the whole team really stepped up, I felt like, today.
Yeah.
Isles had a really good series, and I don't know if this was your guys' perception, but I felt like Lebrov has been playing a really, really good tournament. And some people, like myself included, I guess, were less confident in Isles on some of the meta picks, like Pike and Camille and stuff.
What
but
day
I felt
is
like
it?
you guys did a good job of actually setting up.
Yeah, we implemented a no rule, no Pike. No, I'm not gonna say more, but
I just typed in.
We don't
Okay.
have player of the series, but we have a Riftbound pack for you.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
A
there you go.
Riftbound pack.
Maybe you can pick.
Go crazy if you want.
I actually learned Riftbound the other day here.
Oh, there you go.
Right now if you want.
You can do it right now if you want.
No,
Spain versus Belgium.
You brought up bot lane though, because I thought it was interesting that it almost, I mean, Hans did go the Ziggs, but it almost seemed like a gentleman's agreement where teams were going to just focus on having more of like a 2v2.
Well, we know we both got
about
smacked by these
going up
teams.
against G2 specifically, or just something that happened on the day?
I just focus on my lane, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, bot lane, whatever you want to draft, just make sure you pick champs that can match your roam to top or something. And yeah,
This one was close.
They did have a really good
40
roam.
minute.
They had a couple really good roams top.
Yeah, so yeah, we did a good job there. So good job, team. Yeah.
So congrats, you smurfed it, but now you have HLE.
Yeah.
Never mind. We just like.
Yeah, so we fluked our way to top 3. We played fraudulent teams the whole time.
We had Soul though.
And now we play
But
the big
is this
boss.
the one we died on Soul
I mean,
after
Monolith
gaining?
is,
I think it
obviously
was.
a very dominant team. They made G2 look extremely silly. So
Wow.
yeah, it's gonna be hard. And but we'll take the challenge. You know.
Thoughts on Zeus up there in the top lane?
Yeah, he's pretty good. You know. He's really good.
I should.
So it's going to be hard for sure. I don't think his going to miss.
Well,
as
if
many
we lose
kills in
3-0 to BLG, and then they 3-1 HOE, I think he goes to 5.
What do you
Could
think is
go
the
to
hardest
5.
thing when facing off against a team like Hanwha? What do you guys have to be careful about?
I mean, their laning is just so oppressive. You know, if they have really strong laners, and it's really easy for them to snowball once they have like a winning position in their lane. So just try
We'll
to
see. We'll see. I don't see anything crazy.
hold on
Yeah,
for dear life.
hold the
And,
fort.
I
don't
think
get
this is
too much,
funny.
and
We
then
beat
maybe we
Furia,
can make something happen.
lost to
Or how
BLG,
Magic comes
beat
team
Team
fight.
Secret.
Yeah.
Every single win we had is a 3-0.
Buddy, you gotta sell us.
This
Delusion
sounds-
is the first step
yeah.
to belief, my friend.
I need
This
more,
sounds too much like the vlog from this morning.
I'm
Ha,
excited.
oh, I
Right
forgot
to
I
get
took the
expletive
VODs.
deleted by Hanwha Life.
Or
Yeah,
vlogs.
exactly. So those are my thoughts going into it.
Alright,
I mean,
I'm out of here. I gotta do a bunch of